I was thinking, now I have a child, like, we could do a thing of, like, he's Douglas and I can be Denim.
Douglas.
Well, I'm here, Papa.
Father! That would be his first word. Father!
I'll try and teach him the impression. You know, the IT Crowd is still written by a horrible person, but we can appreciate the product if we separate it from the artist, much like Harry Potter on Netflix.
Oh!
That's a highly requested topic for the pre-record stuff that we will have to do.
Well,
as long as they can't give any more money to J.K. Rowling, of course we won't. We don't fucking make any. Ha ha! Hello everyone. Nerd Bibli Podcast 253. 253.
253.
A formation that is not very defensive and not very attacking in football. Ha ha! It's a Ted Lasso joke. Maybe. I don't know. I still haven't watched it.
I still haven't watched season 3.
I've watched,
which I'm gutted about.
I've watched bits of the old ones. They're very the old ones. The previous seasons. I'm George. This esteemed gentleman to my right physically and my left emotionally is Connor.
No, my name is Douglas. Anyway, enough about our balls.
That was brilliant. And for anyone who hasn't seen the IT Crowd, I'm not giving you any context.
Sing, you canary!
Oh, that's the
I've just got random quotes from Douglas.
When then people come to town and he like gets them to do the role playing game after Roy's broken up with his girlfriend and he's all depressed.
I'm on the end of season 3. I've rewatched it over the weekend, but yes, yeah.
He gives him the closure by being like the fairy. He's like, I have to move on. Bye. It's so. Well, if it isn't free, households are causing us all this trouble in Mirkwood. Even though I think that's like literally a rip from the fucking Hobbit, but sure.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, good times and crazy days. We are in the middle of definitely not recording loads of episodes at once, but go on.
I don't think I've ever looked in this drawer. Wow, a gun.
It's when because he reads that note,
yeah,
and it's actually read by Chris Morris, who played Denham. Because this is not straight after when he's left. I think this is like 2 or 3 episodes in season 2, and he's like, and then he comes back. It's like, oh, that's a nice, because he has a cameo in season 3 he has a cameo in that episode when because Douglas shoots himself in the leg hiding the gun. Like, you come here talking about revolvers and all sorts of nonsense. That accounts team. I had every last one of them. Then he faints, and then he's walking towards the light. Like, her father, and it's actually Chris Morris in his premonition, like, is back, like, cameos as physically as Denham Renham, like guiding him towards the light, and then Hitler pops out, and then he elbows him, I think that was Hitler, and then it's like, no, come on, son, it's all right, come towards the light, and he turns around and goes, nah, fuck that, and just runs back, and then, like, wakes up, but wakes up at the point where Roy's stealing £20 back out of his jacket, because he was like, Roy, give me £20, and threw it out the window, and the wind was blowing it up against the thing, and he's like, not getting it back. He's like, caught you, you thieving Irish bastard. And then the episode ends. The IT Crowd, probably not aged well, especially when you got the transgender character, because that's the episode that they cut from all 4, but it's still on Netflix.
Okay.
But also, just buy it on DVD if it means that fucking much to you.
I think that might have been the last one I saw. I said to you, who is it? I love you, Douglas. And he's like, does it bother you that I'm a man?
No.
Not that.
It takes all sorts to make a world. Because it's like, and to think, you thought I wouldn't love you when you said you came from Iran. I never said that.
I used to say I was a man.
Oh, I used to be a man. Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me. No, wait, it's not me. It is you. There'll be no more getting shit-faced and watching the telly, April. It's over. And then they have this big elongated, like...
fisticuffs.
Fisticuffs, like, fucking exaggerated.
Talking about the internet. When Jen's talking about the internet.
We broke the internet. Like, stuff like that should have the because people were sharing on Twitter the Warner Brothers sort of like pre-content warning, like on some of their older stuff, like on DVDs and things. Where it's like made it, the basic thing of like made at the time when the views were, basically in a time where we thought this was okay, but it's actually not okay, and blah blah blah. That big text thing that they put on all of their animation, which is commendable, and we're like, is this the best thing that you can do? Also, because like people are saying like to do this is probably more effective than editing it out.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Like we've previously said, curating your own history. You have to look,
People learn from their mistakes, and you're just essentially deleting everything we've done wrong in existence.
Yeah, like you say, you learn from your mistakes. So like having them there, it allows people to learn and be better.
Yeah.
Not think, oh, we've always been politically correct and very accepting of people.
Yes.
But you haven't. So like I think instead of like, I'm not saying because the Netflix has all of the episodes. This is just an example. Channel 4 has that episode with April. I forget what the name of it is, so I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to try and guess. Where the episode where Douglas is out with a woman who was previously a man. That episode has been deleted on the Channel 4 one, I believe. And I don't know if it's because how Sky Store when they do their catch-up stuff, I don't know if it's on there or not. Because I don't have Sky because I'm not fucking rich. But for that big of an issue, buy the DVD. But also, like, maybe have it fronted by, especially that one.
Yeah.
There's probably more in there. There's like probably more in lots of comedy that happened in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. There's probably some stuff even from the last decade that's probably not aged particularly well.
Yeah, 100%.
If you can, teach kids of this generation that, look, we made this stuff. We thought it was okay at the time. It's not okay now.
No.
No. Some of the previous BBC shows, like, they've not been like from the 80s and stuff, they were, very politically incorrect in some aspects of it. Like, there's probably stuff in Dad's Army and Ain't Half What Mum and all those kind of...
40 Towers.
Yeah, all those kind of things. Yeah. It's of the time. Everything, as soon as you make it, is a time capsule. Like this podcast.
A treasure trove.
253 episodes long.
A treasure trove.
And in 7 weeks, we'll be 5 years old.
260.
That's mad.
Jesus.
Does it make you feel old?
I feel old, yeah.
Remember when you recorded your first episode?
I was wrinkleless.
You was wrinkleless.
I was wrinkleless. Ridiculous.
You was born like Benjamin Button, then got younger, and then did this podcast, and then and then older again. You've Uno reversed yourself twice. You went
no. And there's no flip card to get out of these shenanigans.
No. Never played Uno Flip. Just seems really confusing. Do you know what I have played though? Uno on the Xbox is still great, especially with the house rules. I want to play the house rules in real life.
Have you done the DLC? Have you done like the expansions and whatever? I can't. No. There's like a Valhalla pack, a Raven Rabbids pack.
I've not. I think I had the Rabbids on because I got the game when it was on gold for like a $5, and I think there was a Rabbids bit, and I played it once, and I was like, "This is just mental." Well, how are the Rayman Rabbids still a thing? Still a thing.
I don't know.
Remember when it was? What were they in? They was in one of them like PlayStation like shooter games like with the old camera before the PS3 one.
Oh, the iToy.
Yeah,
the iToy.
Yeah, and you could do like shooting them and stuff like fucking whack-a-mole and shit.
Rabbit.
And we didn't know at the time that PlayStation 3 Move, they would use those controls for the VR. So we all should have saved them because before VR they were selling them for like a tenner. And now it's hard to get them for like less than 40 quid.
40 quid, yeah.
And I had two. I had two of the thingy and ball ones, and then I had one of the nunchuck ones. Because I had some of them attachments for like I had the gun attachment for some of the shooting games, and like for that one you'd have like the move ball one in the front, like because that was the end of the gun, and then you'd have the analog one there. So that's how like Call of Duty World at War wise, how you would move, and shoot kind of thing. That's probably like £3 million worth of tech.
£3 million gone sky high.
Oh god! If we could go back and do those kind of things again, I wouldn't have sold my PS3.
No, I wouldn't have sold the PS3 fat, slim with the PS2 backwards compatibility, like the original, less than 80GB one, like the very first model of the PS3.
You had the OG PS3.
I didn't, but I'm saying I wouldn't. Any of you out there, do not sell your big, fat, bulky PS3s.
Because also, like with technology, the first one's never the best. Like it's the second version of it that gets like all the stuff you liked, but it does always look different, and so that'll annoy you. But because the one with the Spider-Man font was like and then it was like it's actually quite ugly. Because I got a PS3 Slim. Are you ready for this, boys and girls? I think it was about 2009.
Blimey, yeah. So that was kind of the peak of the Slim, and then you could still relatively get the fat
2005 it was announced.
ones.
End of 2000 like Christmas 2006 it came out, right?
What, the fat? I thought it was 7 even.
Was it?
I thought it was 07. 07 was when games I know were coming out definitely for the
That's
system.
when games happened.
Games were happen, yeah.
Yeah, so I got mine in 09 because I say as a child who was unemployed at the time because I couldn't get a fucking job because I was a child. Saved up my pocket money, went to Argos, got that. Resistance 2 Platinum Edition, Platinum Game of the Year Edition it was 2008, I think that game.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah.
And the weird racing game that's really good graphics wise, but it's like the weird Dune buggies and you'd have the boost and things like that.
Not Gran Turismo then.
Like Motorpoint or something like that.
What, Motorpoint GT or something random
Something
like that.
I'll try and find it later on in the episode. But yeah, I got that and really liked the Slim, and that was that. Had that for fucking years. I think I sold that like 5 years ago. But like literally just for like, I still got like 70 quid for it, car book, because I had that. I had the two, because you always buy a second controller, just in general anyway. That controllers, the docking station for the controllers, and like 16, 17 games.
Blimey.
So my copy of GTA 4 is long asunder, but it was one of them ones where that was before I'd got into actually, like I'd played games, like a lot. But then it was then the transition to Xbox One where I was like, then, you know, you're paying for online, you're playing online, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're actually going to, apart from Heavy Rain, which I nearly got platinum on, I didn't platinum a game. Jason! But yes, and then I've got my PS4, which I got 2018, didn't really use because I had like Killzone 4 on it and stuff like that, and I was like, this is just my Blu-ray player. And then I got the Xbox and haven't really transitioned. I got PS4. I really should thin out my crowd, but also I mainly got PS5 for Spider-Man, which we're getting.
This week,
Spider-Man 2, how fucking good does the black symbiote suit look?
It gets better in every adaptation, I think. There was a post I saw, it just genuinely just looks gorgeous and more gorgeous in every depiction.
And I think the character model of Yuri Lowenthal's Peter Parker is back to normal.
So they've retconned, they've remastered.
Because the remaster's only to make it more general, but I've seen screen grabs somewhere of like the original one. So maybe they've gone back to the original character model because of the backlash of why have you made him look
why have you made
so much more like generic Tom Hollandy Spider-Man, obviously for marketability reasons.
No, George, I'm sorry, the elders on the internet would never stand for it.
It's very good. You're using these at very good points as well today. What else? Because Yuri Lowenthal was talking about how he researched into sort of like split personality stuff when, like, you know, and behavioural disorders for when being overtaken, like when portraying overtaken by the symbiote Peter Parker.
Yeah.
And the nice, you know, like George Lucas says, it's like poetry, everything rhymes. The second one, like Miles is going through what Peter went through in the first one, like watching his mentor slowly succumb to the madness,
degrade himself. Yeah.
Only to obviously, like, you know, help himself out later on. That clip where he's like switched to Miles and he does the launch and he's got the spider wings on the suits.
It looks incredible.
Mwah, chef's kiss.
It does.
Beautiful. I can't wait to play. That's the only reason I've really got a PS5.
Yeah.
Because people were like, why have you got...
And the freaking Logan game. I forgot that's early next year. The Wolverine game.
With Steve Blum is confirmed to play Wolverine, sort of, not really a bit, because he voiced him in... He voiced him in previous X-Men series and games and things like that.
Mark Hamill was Wolverine in a game.
He was, wasn't he? That was...
X2, Wolverine's Revenge. Not based... Yes. It's a spin-off / comic book tie-in to the film, but not really.
It only had film Wolverine on the front because it would sell more
marketability.
Man, that was a good game. What are you... maybe we'll go into like our favourite like comic book games or like movie games.
Movie tie-ins,
games. It's sad that the movie tie-ins kind of died off,
down.
Really.
Yeah.
Good times. And
nostalgic times.
Yes.
Time capsules.
Times. More time capsules than you can shake a Wolverine's adamantium penis at. Because I'd say before, like, like, you know, you're one or the other. Like, I get both. Like, I play the Xbox more
Yeah,
But, like,
I'm 80 to 20%.
the
Xbox
PlayStation became
yeah.
for FIFA, RIP, now EA Sports FC, and the exclusives. Because I was like, I like Crash and all those kind of things. I was like, but I don't like everything enough to just buy
The
that
one system.
when I
Yeah,
know that
yeah.
90% of what I'm going to get. Like, and also because PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus are nothing near like
As
Xbox Game Pass.
values of value, yes, Game Pass. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think Game
yeah.
Pass is better money for value, value for money. Words.
While we're on the subject of games, briefly, have
Yeah,
you?
good. 'Cause we
I
don't
saw.
really do
I
this.
saw.
It's scary. What are we doing?
Well, is it good you said the word scary because this is an old scary game come back. But when I saw the poster, I thought it was just a movie because it has a certain movie actors in it. But they're
It's a movie actor.
But they're the video game models. They're the models as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about Mr. David Harbour and Miss Jodie Comer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what project I am on about? Or you may have seen
The brand new game of Hellboy. Sequel to the movie Hellboy.
No, it's a game you should play at night time purely because it's in the name.
Well,
Alone in the Dark.
oh my Jesus!
Yeah, for PS5. I think September.
Is it PlayStation exclusive?
That's what I'm literally googling, but I'm 99% sure it is. I believe so.
That's the thing. All that monthly stuff, because I think their monthly thing, they had games that were basically like Game Pass, like you could get a monthly, but they were stopping that. And
No, it isn't. It's set to release on Windows, PlayStation, Xbox, but everywhere else
Get
it's
it on
PlayStation,
Xbox then.
PlayStation. Yeah.
Does PlayStation pay more for their marketing? Because I think less people are playing PlayStation these days.
But they're still on top. I'm sure of the console wars and the sales and everything. I'm sure
But
people buy PlayStations. I feel.
PlayStation, and I will say this: when they both come out, the PS5 was more in demand.
Yeah.
Because also they made less, and because the ship container thing may or may not have crashed in the sea, and like loads of them are at the bottom of the ocean, like people say they are, or they just lost some of the orders.
Yeah.
But naturally, because I think it's the name, I think it's the generational thing in the fact that they've never it's you've had your PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, and now our fifth generation of the PlayStation.
Getting old.
And you've had the Xbox, you've had the 360, you've had the One,
and then the Series X. Yeah.
And I think the thing is with the Series X is not a big step up from the One. Because I got the One X.
Especially not the One X. One X to Series X, there's barely
graphics wise, but also system wise. Even with the One. 1 second, there's a child.
Oh no!
You go, carry on.
There's somebody at the door. Oh. His little baby's crying. I know he's upset that he didn't get a PlayStation 1 when he was growing up. Back to the ramble. Yes, if you have an Xbox One X and you went from Xbox One X to Series X, it's virtually the same thing. The Series X is a more improved model of the One X, but you're not really getting more bang for your buck. Whereas if you had the big fat Xbox One with the Kinect, like I did, and then you basically skipped the Xbox One S, the white Xbox, and you went straight to the Series, then voila, that's bang for your buck. PlayStation, again, PS4 to PS4 Pro, that's a bit more of a leap, but even going from PS4 Pro to PlayStation 5, you're actually getting 4K, you can play 4K movies, everything about it, the storage, the utility, the graphics, the storage, everything's all gone up to the moon. And speaking of the moon, Neil Armstrong Jr. is here. He's landed, and he's looking at me right in my eyes. Ooh, dear child.
Woke himself up, so that's him not going to sleep. I'll be on in a minute anyway, so do not unplug that. Please.
Do not touch anything.
What was he saying about the Xbox, dear chap?
Literally, I just mentioned that, if you had a Xbox One X and you went from Series X, you're getting less bang for your buck. Whereas if you went from Xbox One, the big fat Kinect one, to Series, then But if PS4 to PS5, even if you had a PS4 Pro to PS5, you're getting more of an upgrade. I think with that.
Well, because I only had OG PS4.
OG PS4, yeah.
And then went to the 5 purely because it was like Spider-Man. Because I then bought the Miles Morales Ultimate Edition because for like 56 quid you were getting that, and then you was getting the remaster of
the PS4 games,
Spider-Man 2018. So for me that was more Hello.
Bang for your buck.
Yes, and it's like, so I've not really like keyed into, like, everything just looks different for me on PS5 because I'm just like, I don't know what the software
I
used
don't
to
know what
look
it
like.
is.
Whereas as soon as I turned on the X, like, it's the same because it's literally just a faster, bigger hardware for the One X.
Instant load.
Yeah.
Yeah, all 9 times out of 10 for most games. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and the
like
only
quick
difference is
resume.
there's some stuff saved on my Series X that's not on the other one. Like, it's just, but it's still all my data's there. All I just do is reload it on there, and then I've got still all the same stuff, all the same achievements.
Yeah.
Yes,
Me?
it's Connor.
What about me?
Say hello.
Did you get my card? Did you, Are you saying thank you for your card? My card? My card? Your card?
Say thank you. You're just not in a good mood.
Just
today,
look
are
at
you?
your feet.
It's not in a good mood. He's probably hungry. It's a child. This is what we do now. 5 years ago, you were
Puffy.
not here.
Puffy red cheeks.
Yeah, he's got 5 teeth coming through at once.
Bloody 5.
Yeah.
What?
So he had 5. He had 5
2,
anyway,
5?
and then he's got
5?
like the sharp ones.
The
on
fangs.
on this side.
Vampire.
He's got another 2 down here. And
5?
when your back ones come through, then you're going to be really miserable, aren't you? Yeah.
Aw.
New stuff, because we actually talked about video games for a little while.
Mm.
New stuff, because I've seen. So, you're a fan of the Star Wars, the War in the Stars.
The War in the Stars, yes. Especially when they go rogue.
You're a fan of the You're a fan of the animated stuff in Clone Wars and or Rebels.
The Filoni-verse.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you like Ahsoka. Ahsoka
Yes.
Tano.
Very
You're
looking forward to
yeah.
August, yeah.
Are you looking forward to a returning cast member?
I don't think I'm not playing up for the camera or the audio, but I don't think I know what you're on about.
So,
Who is returning?
for the first time in live action, we will be seeing Captain Rex.
Is that actually confirmed?
Today we have seen that Tamora Morrison is confirmed to come
Actually
back
today?
and play the first live action iteration of
Captain Rex.
I think it's from comicbookmovie.com.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Because I saw a couple of like fan-made images that did look very convincing. It was like, oh, wouldn't it be
Comic
cool
Book
if this
Resources,
happened?
He will return in the Star Wars universe, playing the first live-action version of Captain Rex in
Brilliant.
Ahsoka.
Oh, cool. No, good. It makes sense. Rex and Ahsoka are very much a pair in their previous appearances. So if you're going to have one, why not have the other? But then Cody, I'm assuming. I mean, my Star Wars knowledge is not tip-top like it is the MCU and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm assuming Cody died. Is Cody still alive? Is Cody still out there?
Well,
Commander Cody.
because what happens in the last season of Clone Wars? Because Cody in the film shoots at
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, and he's not really the focus of Clone Wars, is he? But he's in
No,
some of them.
he's there. It's all. I always just put Cody and Rex together. Like they were always kind of there together. In my mind, but I mean, I could be really off
So maybe
saying
he's
that.
just playing like, he'll play it like he played Cody, but just good.
Just with Rex.
And he won't shoot Ewan McGregor and his weird lizard monster.
Or the pointy microphone. Yes, dear child, that is a microphone. Oh, you gonna talk? You gonna say something? Or are you just gonna burp?
I mean, you're a really cheap guest, so that's,
What is burping funny?
I thought he was going to tense up and have a poo.
Oh, don't do that. Not in here. Come on, not for the camera. You can't do that.
So, yeah.
Oh, Darth Noah.
Deadpool 3
Ooh.
seems to be the only film with good news all the time because
Good news, everyone. Yeah.
Miranda Baccarin's back,
Everyone seems to be back in it.
but they might be pulling in some more from, the Closure Fox Universe film because
Yeah.
one, Halle Berry shared a picture of
Yes.
herself with the
Yeah.
silvery white hair similar to her Storm character as Deadpool 3 filming began this week in London.
In London. Da-na-na-na-na.
So, I mean, for closure-wise, it makes sense that you would use the OG cast if you're going to do... Hi.
Air? I am air. Is that what you're saying? Heart? Chest?
very weird version of head, shoulders, knees, and toes, isn't it?
Are you doing the Guardians thing? Are you doing the respect? Oh, he looks like he wants to laugh. Yeah.
Delirious.
Infectious.
Wow, what's that thing that Jafar's like ecstatic?
Ecstatic. Oh.
Yeah, because we've got Yukio and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, who's what's her name? What is her name?
What actress? What's that? Is that Zazie? No, not that's new.
Zazie Beetz is
Domino.
Is she confirmed to be back? Yeah,
I'm
Domino?
sure she is.
What, Amanda Hildebrand. That's who plays
Negasonic.
Negasonic. Yeah, she's got a fabulous name. They're back. I don't know if Colossus is confirmed. I know that he was in talks.
I keep thinking everyone's is. I keep seeing. I think genuine posts and everyone is. Are you confirmed for Deadpool? Are you baby?
Yes.
Are you baby?
Yes.
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes. Good boy.
He's in it, folks. World exclusive.
No. Who are you playing, Noah? You're playing Da. Okay. The Chameleon.
The Chameleon.
But yeah, so the fact that I'd like if we got confirmation of the old Fox Fantastic Four gang. What's his name? Not Ewan Rowan, because that's fucking Ramsay Bolton. Not him.
Ewan Grufford.
Yeah, Ewan Grufford, Jessica Alba,
Chris Evans.
Chris
some
Evans
point.
cameo. That would be great.
That would be
and who's the one that plays the Thing? Yes, exactly. He doesn't know. You're only going to watch the good version of the Fantastic Four, the 1994 cartoon. No.
Yeah. Yeah. Aren't you, Noah? Yes.
Yes. Is it gonna is it gonna be separate and is it gonna feel like a Deadpool movie? Because it's obviously the first one under the Disney
banner
ownership.
Yeah, but I mean, Disney keep changing their games and everything the last year, so even they don't know what they're doing.
Do not. Trying to get down. But yeah, because it's going to be weird. Because obviously, did you see Once Upon a Deadpool?
No, I keep trying to find it online.
Is it on the Super Duper Deadpool 2 edition?
No, the Super Duper missing edition. No, it isn't. No.
It's got the weird wraparound Christmas story stuff elements, and then obviously cuts around the graphic violence. Fucking hell! Anyone else want to come in? We've got cats. We've got a child.
Oh.
We've got.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, because everyone's basically coming back for Deadpool, and it looks like it's going to be a nice little hurrah.
Regardless of Ryan Reynolds not being allowed to improvise according to the writer strikes, random article that came out literally, I think yesterday. I was like, what? Do
you think that's true? Because I think even if it is, I don't know.
It can't be it. Reynolds I think would quit it because that's what he's special at. That's his charm. That's the film. That is literally the embodiment of the film. It's the fact that he can just spew stuff and it gets in the film. He can't script it. The whole thing is just a walking gag reel.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that if there's some truth and weight behind said, restrictions because of the so-called ongoing writing strikes, then that's just not going to be the same, is it?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Only time will tell.
Yeah.
Oh, Spider Babe, Spider Babe.
What else has happened so far? We got a confirmation of at least one live-action cameo in Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Mrs. Chen. I want to eat Mrs. Chen.
And you see... wait, Mrs. Chen?
Yeah.
Spider-Man? Oh, so I'm completely thinking of the opposite movie and the opposite brand. But
go on, then you go for your one. What's your one?
Superman Lived in 1999.
Oh, you're going for The Flash.
Yes, that's why I was like, Nick Cage is in Spider-Man. I went, no, he ain't.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the air. Yes.
Official new teaser confirms the previously rumoured live-action crossover cameo of Venom's Mrs. Chen being visited by Spot.
Ah.
And as he grabs the thing, it's in live action, and then it goes to animation, like when it changes. Yes, all right. And so it's not like Spot becomes live action, which I like that.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So it's going to be a bit Roger Rabbit-y in terms of animation and real
So
life.
Tom Holland is possible. In my mind.
That'd be cool. I mean, at least one thing with him.
Yeah, just
because he gets mentioned, doesn't he? Like in the,
everyone 999 or whatever. Yeah. But also in the trailer, not a live action thing, but you do see a black hand come out. It's like a wreckage. Literally, it's like a half-second shot. You blink, and you miss it. Black hand looks like a symbiote.
Oh.
So an animated Venom could be in it. A animated Venom.
Yeah, because at the moment we don't like. Is the villain 2099 Spider-Man? Is it Spot? Because Spot seems like just a bit of a
henchman second tier
inconvenient thing. Yeah, because it could be
unless it's like a Ben Kingsley like Commander-in thing where you think Spot's the baddie, Spot actually is going to help, and it turns out to be Noah all along. What about me? Oh,
good high five.
Yeah.
What else have we got? There are more plans for Scarab Beetle post Moon Knight. Sorry if I'm quiet because I'm holding a child away from the microphone. Marvel Studios reportedly has big plans for May Callum Way's Layla El Fawley / Scarab Beetle in the MCU. So whether that is a Moon Knight season 2 or something else, or if I bring it down. Speak into it. Speak, priest.
What?
No.
Mickey Mouse?
No, you're not having anything up there.
Audacity. You have the audacity, dear child.
What else have we got? Oh, and Ray Stevenson. We lost Ray Stevenson the other week.
We did. Oh my god, yeah, we did.
So sad. Ray Stevenson, who was the Punisher, and what the fuck are you doing to this microphone? Dear boy. Dear boy. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to never letting anybody talk. He was in he was Volstagg in the Thor films. He was the Punisher in Punisher Warzone. Obviously many more things, but in terms of our wheelhouse and what the audience will know, that's what he was in. Yeah.
Oh. Are you trying to use the Force? Are you trying to like?
Ow.
Oh. What's that for?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's all becoming a bit too much, isn't it? It's all a bit too much.
No. The guest that we get
Are you
on
doing
the show,
heads?
Oh my god.
Face? Elbow? Neck? What are you doing?
It's my own head, shoulders, knees and toes.
Oh, yeah.
I call it. Meh.
And Mike. Face, neck, elbow, and Mike,
Well, Connor, because I've previously done it, and because I've got a child in my arms, why don't you run through your MCU list?
Oh, MCU list.
Because I went through mine, not last episode, as would have been good planning, but the episode before, I believe.
And before Noah destroys your mic for good.
Yes. Well, I hold his arm. Please don't break it, son. Please. Listen, sit with me, boy, and listen to Noah. Listen to Connor's list of MCU films. No,
me? What, my lap? What is it? My phone? You want my phone? Oh, hello. Oh, blimey. Hello, dear child. Hello. Oh, well, you comfy? Oh, okay.
Tell me your list, Connor. Is what you're saying.
I'm interested. All right. Worst film out of the way is. I mean, I'm just going to say For the Dark World.
So that's your bottom,
like number 33, 32. Oh, no, it's all right. I'm scary. It's all right. It's fine.
Is that no? I want to listen.
I want to
listen. So,
I want to get comfy.
So your one is Thor: The Dark World, because we had similar like bottom threes.
I can't even think. Yeah. So I blame you, dear boy. I'm just going to Google MCU and just. No noise. MCU films ranked.
While Connor gets his list up.
Honestly, my mind's just gone blank. MCU ranking. Okay, it's got 34 entries on it because this is the shows and May 2022. So this is a bit outdated.
My list for help with reference?
Yeah. Because I can't. Because we just did the films, didn't we? Because on this I've got films and things.
I would do the Disney Plus shows separately.
And
eventually I would, when it's like you said, when it's all said and done, then we would have a big old link. Yeah, so I've got 32 films.
32 films, yeah, okay.
If you want that for your reference point.
Why not? Yes. Why not? Right, so worst MCU movie, according to me, the one that I can't stand and wish got deleted from time, is probably. I think it might have to be For the Dark World, just because apart from Loki's fake death and Odin, father, yes, Loki died an honourable man. Psych. What did it add? More Natalie Portman time.
Set up that
nothing.
lovely joke in Thor Ragnarok.
Yeah.
My son, Thor's return.
My son.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Yeah. No, I'd say just Dark World. It just is uneventful, just kind of and it is just a bit of a slog.
Yeah, you're listening.
Oh, don't throw up. Don't. Oh, you're right, dear child. It's a bit annoying having the thing in your mouth. I mean, I've lost that feeling 25 years ago.
And so, yeah, I mean, I get it. Thor was bottom of mind for a long time. I really
Just kind of.
yeah.
What in your bottom was Black Widow?
Yes.
The only reason.
Do not.
Dear child, what are you doing?
Go on, you carry on, dear boy.
I'm gonna go with Dark World.
Yeah. I get it because I think my bottom three they could have all been.
Yeah.
Been last.
Then I might say Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2, maybe.
Yeah.
Just because it is a setup movie and it's got individual moments that are great and important things of it, unlike Mr. Dark World. It's just kind of, again, it's there.
Placeholder, isn't it?
It's there, yeah. Follow Vando, Captain Marvel, First Avenger. Then I'd say it's a toss-up between Black Widow, Captain Marvel. Again, a lot of your bottom list is kind of what I'd put. I may go. I might go Captain Marvel. So it's Dark World, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel.
I get. Like, I appreciate Captain Marvel as a film, and it was, way too late to have a... Yeah, round of applause. It was way too late to have a female superhero film from the MCU.
Yeah. And the Woman of Wonder beat them first.
It was a bit bland.
That's what I mean. It's the third act.
What it did.
And what it did to Taskmaster and everything else, it just felt a bit pointless and redundant. Just like that sonic screwdriver you're holding. Yeah. Nice. No, alright, just to speed it up, I'd go Iron Man 2, for Dark World, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel, Black Widow.
Yeah, for me, obviously, like, Black Widow was my weakest, so I get the whole thing with that. I just like, it's a phase 3 movie in phase 4. It was the long way. It was just, it didn't add anything new.
No, it just didn't.
It was kind of just, it was basic and it was safe, and I really just didn't gel. I didn't hate it, I gel with it the least.
Gelled with it the least, yeah, totally. Yeah. Then controversially, because as we're into 2023, I might go Quantumania. So far down the bottom.
Well, if it's fifth bottom for you,
29 or 30,
you must pray tell why. Why is it the fifth worst for you?
Darren, he was a dick, and he was the reason why Ant-Man 1 was at the bottom for so long. No, I'm not just gibbering on the current court situation with Mr. Major. I mean, he's playing the major character going forward, and obviously his character cannot be erased and everything else, because I know on the Disney Plus marketing thing and even on the home media releases, they totally just blank him out. He's in a corner of the poster. He's not even on the synopsis. They're really trying to downplay Major's involvement in the film.
Which I think is kind of pointless, because you've already made it. It would be for if you was making a film with him now.
Yeah.
Like, don't put him in any of the major stuff for Loki. Like, don't have him in the don't have him be a marketing point for Loki season 2.
No.
If you was shooting Kang Dynasty, it's a bit harder to get away with because he is Kang. But like, if you were shooting
99 millions of him. Yeah.
If like you're shooting a film with him in it, Like, because at the end of the day, it's a fabulous performance from
It is.
Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, it
And
is
like,
really
he's
cool
the reason
performance.
that they like found their direction. Was like, oh, this is the direction we go in phase.
Because the fact that
In
they
the
came out this week
saga.
and said that the whole plan, the next plan wasn't initially around Kang, I think it does kind of say a lot to Majors' performance, at least.
And it does kind of say a lot to the fact that it was kind of like, not like a sense they didn't know what they're doing, but it wasn't a set thing. There was
Yeah, it
just
wasn't
like,
a set arc, no. There wasn't
was,
like a Thanos in
here's
mind.
some new
Mm.
people introduced, here's some of the older characters like doing other stuff, and they've all kind of felt like, not directionless, but they've all kind of felt like,
Yeah, just here.
they've all kind of felt like fillers, because they've all kind of
Mm.
felt like we're just doing this until we know what we're doing, like
In
what
2
we-
years?
what
Yeah.
we're building to, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
Ant-Man for the first time did at least feel like there's an end goal.
Mm.
I know Guardians is completely different because it's a quality story in terms of the fact that it's concluding a
I just-
trilogy
yeah,
and it
I-
doesn't
yeah.
need to go anywhere else.
I separate that as less of an MCU trilogy now that we know the full thing.
Yeah.
And that Mr. Gunn did luckily come back
It's
and finish it.
it's very
Yeah.
like adjacent and on its own, and I respect it and I love it and it's fucking fantastic. But
Yeah,
like
it is.
Ant-Man Quantumania felt like this is where we're going.
To some degree, but then the ending and the fact that they reshot it and they played it safe, I think at least hurt it. Disappointed me massively. It was not the film itself was disappointing. Like, fine, the film was Star Wars. I got that, and I kind of liked what it was. It could have been so much more than what we had, but for me that just annoyed or like irritated me. I think it was its ending and the fact that it was so 11th hour, last minute reshot. It was really reshot.
But
Right,
I
closer
prefer
the
that
call.
ending to what we would have got, which would have been Ant-Man getting trapped in the
Stuck.
quantum realm again.
Yeah, I know again, and it would have been repeated of what came before.
Mm.
Yeah, but even with like, I think along the lines of like Nathaniel Richards or someone, another Kang Iron Lad would have been in somewhere, would have spoken to Cassie or something. There was like an Iron Lad thing that was going to be in it, and then it got cut at the very last minute.
But there's still time for them to do those things because
Later on,
at the end of the day, you know, I like either recast Kang. If,
Yeah.
You know, if Jonathan Majors is found to be guilty, and you know, just
whether or not like Majors' reputation in real life affects this listing, it probably won't as time goes on for me. It's just the more I think about Quantumania and compared to how fucking amazing Guardians was, this really just felt like not a low blow, but it just felt like a little like low punch. It was like,
do you feel like you know, Quantumania? It made Quantumania look lesser because of the quality of Volume 3.
suppose, yeah. And I suppose you can use the same lens for Multiverse of Madness, which we'll get to in a bit. But I enjoy Multiverse of Madness a hell of a lot more than I did Quantumania. Looking at the two,
Yes.
I feel like there's much more to offer with it.
I think. See, for me, it is. You know how the MCU films always used to sort of like feel the same,
Yes.
and then you got the thing of, oh, they're definitely from the same company and they're part of the same story and they look like aesthetically they all fit in the same world, but they are all completely different films. It feels like now they're completely separate. Like a lot
They
of
are.
everything,
They are.
a lot of things post Endgame have felt like completely separate
Individual
from everything
projects.
else.
Yeah, individual
And
projects,
There's
yeah.
no. It's felt a bit, you know, to take the piss of it. It's felt a bit like the DCEU. It's felt like there is like Phase 4 for the high points, which would be, you know, audience gratification wise, Spider-Man No Way Home. I'd say WandaVision. I'd say
Shang-Chi.
I'd say She-Hulk. I'd say Loki for the people that actually appreciated the script writing.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, things like it has all felt. I think the plus shows have all felt of one world,
Yeah, right, yeah, yes.
whereas the movies have felt kind of disconnected and kind of like, you know,
Loose.
like we've been going on this journey. We got to the destination. Right, there's a new journey that we're going to now. Where's that? Oh, we don't know yet.
Yeah, we don't know
We
yet.
can't tell you.
Yeah, no.
And then it's kind of like they've just sort of sailed over here, we've sailed over there, we've just sort of spun around in a
like
circle for a little bit.
Yeah.
But in that time,
Yeah.
we've also learned, oh, that's where we're going. Well, how are we getting there? But I don't
I
know.
don't know. It's just a top.
And
It's a
then we're kind of floating back on course, and then
Yeah.
we'll be.
yeah.
But Especially like I think if you look at each year of films as well, so like 2022 you had Strange, you had Love and Thunder,
Thunder.
you had Wakanda Forever,
Mm.
and
Mm.
they all felt in a way like an MCU thing, but it was kind of all like I don't know. The truest one for me was like Black Panther was the
Yeah.
aspects in Doctor Strange that I love. There was in Quantumania, like like it felt in parts it felt like it, but it felt like it was like, and then what? And
That's
then
what I
what?
mean.
And what's the
Yeah.
next bit?
Yeah.
Whereas Guardians for me didn't feel massively like it felt very like this is all we're focused on. This is the only thing. I don't
Yeah.
care about anything else
Anything
outside
else?
of this.
No.
Which I think worked because it was a let's wrap up this story. This is the end of my thing. Whatever you do with these characters next
Is on you.
is on you.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's not on me.
We're not kicking you off. I'm not taking him with my cold dead corpse over in DC.
Yeah.
They're not mine and mine alone. Yeah.
But yeah, and it stands head and shoulders above the rest. But no, Quantumania, I get. Sorry, that's
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Just Quantumania.
Mhm.
Because then I would rejig where you've put like First Avenger and 4, and maybe even Age of Ultron, like push them up maybe a spot or two higher than where you put them initially.
that's right. So you've gone
Hulk,
So
yeah.
so we've gone.
I've basically matched your bottom list, but I'm moving
So what's,
Incredible
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk, First Avenger and 4 I'm going to move.
So what
Yeah.
is above your Quantumania?
So what is above my Quantumania? That's a question. I think
Do you wanna
I'm going to
write
go Love and Thunder.
Do you want to write it out as you're doing it?
Fuck it then. Okay.
It might help you. Change the numbers round.
Fuck it. Alright. 4-2. I'm just going to do it 4-2. Fucking Iron Man 2. Iron 2. Iron 2. Captain Marvel.
Like, despite how low Captain Marvel is on my list and yours, I think we can both say that we are very excited for the Marvels.
Yeah. Yes.
Probably more excited than we thought we would be for a Captain Marvel sequel.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And, more excited than we would have been for a Miss Marvel sequel to the series. Because I still need to go back. Do you know what I need to do now? I need to go back and watch it from the beginning and just binge it. Because there was a lot of stuff with the Disney Plus stuff. I was like week in week out. Like WandaVision for us became a thing. Like every week it would be like, right, the new one's on. We'll watch it.
Well, yeah.
Like we'll digest it. Same for Loki and Falcon and Winter Soldier and things like that. But then there's others where I'm like, maybe you just need to binge through it.
Yeah.
Just need to hit it as one. Like just let it wash over you and then go, oh, that's because have you seen the guy that he edited Kenobi into a 2.5 hour movie?
I've heard of it, but I've not seen footage.
Apparently it's very
of it.
good. So it has an opening crawl,
Yeah.
and then it goes through all 6 episodes, but like it cuts certain frames out of scenes, like things that hold on a bit too long. Some of the fluff and extra basically a lot of the stuff that's like a bit padding. Like takes a lot of that out, streamlines it a bit, gives it the narrative, and gets it from beginning to end. And it's meant to be very good, and maybe worth a watch because I think it would have worked great as a movie. But it was kind of nice that we got 6 extra hours with Ewan McGregor.
Yeah.
But then, like a lot of these shows, it's like for us, Falcon and Winter Soldier felt like it was just a movie that they cut up, and then sort of was like, and then this bit happens, and this is the 3-act structure that we're following, kind of thing. Whereas WandaVision was just so bonkers and lovely.
You had to keep watching, at least for us. I get if people did watch it, felt disconnected, and thought, "Where's this all going? I can't keep up with it." Because it was very it wasn't until episode 3 where it was blatantly, or not blatantly even, but the direction was there.
Yes,
you had to watch a good. It was 40 minutes each, 20 minutes each. I don't know how long, half hour
it was
each.
only a half hour each. That was the thing.
But for some people, it would have been
easy
an
watch.
intense half hour. For some
Yeah.
people, it would have been like a real what on earth is going on here?
And then it was over before it was like, no.
Yeah, I know. The good stuff was over before it ended. Yeah.
But I also like that the episodes are longer if they need it to be. Like, it doesn't have that Netflix thing of, no, we have like 45 minutes to an hour each episode, and there's always 13 episodes. It's as long or as short as it needs to be.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm up to number 20 at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of rejigged. I like your list. I've just swapped some around. So
cool.
I've called it 4-2, Iron 2, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Quantumania, Love and Thunder.
So Love and Thunder is above Quantumania for you.
The goats.
Is it?
No, I don't know why.
The goats keep it above Quantumania, or the goats push it down the list?
No,
As I waggle
I
my
only
Dr. Sonic screwdriver.
judging me and condemning me into the dark dimension.
Real Paul McGann would
I
be
know,
very
proper
disappointed.
like what on earth? No, I don't know. I only watched snippets of it, and like the other week for the Guardians rewatch, and the bits I saw made me laugh. But other than that, I wouldn't watch the whole thing in one session.
I wanted to turn it off. At the cinema, no.
Yeah,
I wanted to turn it off.
I do get that feeling though. Yeah,
when
I understand.
after I'd done the Guardians thing, because I literally like you, I did Guardians 1, 2, Infinity War, Endgame, Love and Thunder, Holiday Special, and then
yeah, exactly.
Volume 3. And I was like, I know I'm doing this for the Guardians, but it was also like, I was like, I ended up just like going through and watching it, and I was like, the thing is, the hype, like I know the hype and that, did the wrong thing for Doctor Strange, and then like this kind of, you had a bit of reverse for this, because it was kind of like it was downplayed quite a lot, and then there was people coming out going, oh, it's amazing, it's like graphically it's so, but obviously I think it's like Batman and Robin. Like at the end of the day, it is harmless, because none of this really matters, because these are all fucking films, so nothing really means anything. But
to me,
it's so overstuffed with like, you do this and this, and I like everything. It does the Kingsman 2 problem. It takes all the things. It takes everything that was good about the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Takes everything that was a bit edgy and bad about the first one. Yeah. And just dials everything up to 11.
11. Yeah.
Even the stuff that you didn't really like in the last one, like the stuff that worked in Ragnarok was the humor, the pacing. It trimmed out all those things. Then it was like, because it was it streamlined Thor in a way for the movies that I know it's like not really like Thor, which people haven't liked, because we're not getting big cosmic Viking where he's actually like and he's got all these things that happen to him, killing off all like the Warriors 3 and all that stuff. But then it's like, and now, like, none of that stuff mattered, but when we're going to really expand on the mythology and the outer workings of its character, even though we stripped him back to this very tragic person who'd lost a lot, and then that character arc, once done in Endgame, was kind of like, and where now?
Yeah, I get that.
It's kind of like and if we just put everything back where it was and just pretend everything's reset. Like, even down to the fact that his robotic eye is now just Chris Hemsworth's eyes. Like, the robotic guy from Rocket no longer has the brown iris.
No.
Like, it's suddenly just a blue one, and it's like, it felt lazy in places. It felt like Taika was just like, everyone loves me and loved one I did before, so whatever I do, like, everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah.
But also, it suffers because it's an important character that is apparently returning unknowns to Chris Hemsworth at the time, or Taika Waititi. But like, it didn't put it in I know, because we didn't know the Phase 5 and the rest of the Infinity Saga, and still don't the complete thing, like, know where it's going, but we know the big finale of this. It's not pointed us in even a remote direction, or given us a thing of, here's the journey that Thor's going to go on in this saga kind of thing. Yeah. Same with Doctor Strange, but to a lesser extent, because Doctor Strange kind of felt like Doctor Strange is still broad enough to, like, he's had a bit of character growth.
Quite a bit, yeah.
Especially because of his experiences of Infinity War and Endgame, so he's softened a bit, and No Way Home, obviously. And is kind of, the only thing I don't like about Multiverse of Madness is, like, it was this, obviously it was overhyped, and like the cameos and stuff, but it also wasn't just a Doctor Strange sequel.
Yeah.
Like, because I really like Doctor Strange. Like, I know a lot of people are like, you either like the Doctor Strange film or you like the Black Panther film. It's kind of like one of those weird fault lines.
No,
I love them
they're
both
completely different.
I wish I'd seen Doctor Strange in the cinema.
Yeah, I think I did. I mean, I wished I did, because it was only Ant-Man 1 and Doctor Strange 1 where I didn't. They're the only two MCU films I think I've missed in cinema.
Ant-Man, Ant-Man I missed. I got that on Blu-ray. Black Panther, because my sister went without me. Captain Marvel I did see. Homecoming, didn't see. So, alright, so...
I feel like I've maybe missed a film or two, but I'm at number 12 at the minute, and I'm sort of changing your list. So I think you were up to
So your
Ant-Man
next
and the
one
Wasp. So
is...
Age of Ultron.
So Ant-Man and the Wasp is your next... So you've got 2 Ant-Man films.
So far down below, ditch. Oh, no. Sucks. No.
Is your favourite Ant-Man out of the trilogy?
1,000,000%, yeah. So so Ant-Man and the Wasp, Age of Ultron, because it's the weakest Avengers, and maybe can go 1 or 2 higher because of its importance and everything. But again, I think it loses it towards the second half a bit. It just goes a bit too much.
But what is it about Wasp that you don't like? The Ant-Man and the Wasp, sorry.
Just how simple it is, and again, like the Captain Marvel fit, it's just filler. More than if it was in Phase 4, I feel like people would be like, "Oh, God, this is the most filler."
But I like because it comes straight after Infinity War,
yeah,
and gives the context. Because obviously we knew that every character was going to be in these 2 films. They were shooting them back to back, and the whole thing was, "Where's Ant-Man?"
Where is Ant-Man?
This is what he was doing, and then it syncs up with the end of Infinity War, and sets him on the path for Endgame.
It's just the side characters. Everyone else, I just don't particularly care if they all come back or not.
I think Evangeline Lilly is at her best and given the most to do in Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Agree, yeah.
Because she's sidelined quite a lot in Quantumania, and she's
uppercut.
She's the grumpy person in the first one. That's kind of like, can we just get to the point where her, Scott, and Hank are all like in good moods, so we can enjoy the dynamic of these 3?
Yeah,
which we don't get to till like near the end. So I don't know. Yeah, it's because the thing is, you could move all of these round.
That's
like
the
I said,
thing.
like the bottom half, you could all move around. Like especially like the bottom 7 or 8, I think you could.
Not to be controversial, but I put Civil War like quite a bit lower than where you put it. But I do think I'll go for individual films as opposed to like the Avengers.
That's the thing. Like, so individual film, like it's hard because it's kind of you're judging it off of its quality as a film, but also like where it comes in the universe and how each film has to top what's come before. Like. Not just like sequel wise, but sequentially, like Iron Man 3, Thor, Captain America, Winter Soldier ups the stakes, Guardians of the Galaxy ups them but takes them like across the universe, and then you've got Avengers, and then you cover it down with Ant-Man, and then you're doing like, and then it's like, how do we top the last Captain America? We do Civil War.
Oh, I know what I have missed. First Avenger. Where the hell have I put? Where should I put First Avenger? Because I have a soft spot for First Avenger.
But while you figure out...
I haven't even put 4. So, okay, 2 films I've missed. 4, 1, and Captain 1.
You're on 32, so
your First Avenger and 4 were like down here somewhere. I've just deleted them and I forgot where they are. Yeah, I just forgot. So, okay, 4 I think would be maybe...
Age of Ultron for you is then the next in the list.
Yeah.
The weakest Avengers film. I will grant you that, but it's also
4.
It's not as bad as people
4
say.
between Iron Man 3 and Eternals at the minute.
Okay.
At the minute, but even Far From Home and Iron Man 3. I mean, they're both due.
I'm liking how far up you've got Eternals.
Big respect.
Cause I could have it that high. I could also have it lower because I can see the bad point. So, Age of Ultron. What has not been said about Age of Ultron really?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's a movie that goes on way too much, and it sets up. A lot.
Had there been no... Yeah, because it had to do quite a lot, didn't it? And I think had there been less studio interference, we might have looked back on it more fondly.
Yeah.
Because, like, I do like some of the stuff that, we start in this. We get, the development of, the shoehorned, like, Bruce and Natasha thing, but,
Oh, and Hulk. I've not placed Hulk yet. Hulk, I think, would be above even Age of Ultron. Oh, God, what's happened to this? Hulk... Ed in brackets. I just put Hulk Ed.
We can talk about that now because that's just above Age of Ultron. Is the Incredible Hulk?
Edible Hulk, yeah, Edible Hulk.
I like Incredible Hulk. Like I do like
it. I like it. I think it's fine. Yeah, like that's why I put it above Age of Ultron, where there's so much going on in it. It's a simple story. It's nice.
It's early days.
Yeah, he ain't got the weight.
It's semi a sequel to Ang Lee Hulk because they pick up in the same place that film left it.
It is.
But then obviously because of the new universe, they've firmly established since that it's like, no, this is its own universe, and maybe we'll see an Ang Lee Hulk.
Oh
was
God.
was the Ang Lee Hulk Fox?
Yeah, that was Fox.
So that
no, Universal.
Oh, Universal.
Yeah.
Imagine if we could get him in Deadpool 3. But I'd still I think a Secret Wars cameo from Ang Lee Hulk, Nick Cage Ghost Rider, OG Fantastic, for them kind of ones for us. That would be more like that. I think that would get more out of me than here's John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, because that's something I want to see now. That's not something I've already seen. Having Patrick Stewart there was more of a, even though we knew he was there because of the trailer, that was more of a, oh my god, he's actually here, he's in the yellow chair. Hence visually shorthanding us that this isn't the movie universe. This is possibly the animated show come to life.
I think because I've had to copy and paste. You're up to 35 at the minute because I've had to enter and go fill things in between. So I'll change the numbers, but I think I'm in the top 10 now.
Oh, lovely.
I think. It's Civil War. Get out of there. Get out of there. Get out of there.
So we're above.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is number 10. I think.
Right, let me pause this, and you can carry on writing your list.
Oh well. I don't have to pause nothing. Well, what's going on?
Well, because then what's next on your? Because you're writing and saying it, and what's your next one? So we're down to.
Oh! Far From Home. Far From Home. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Far From Home.
Okay. I get it, because for me, I don't get the hate for it, but I think I enjoy it the least out of these films. I kind of get why it's there, but it is very well made, and I think John Watts makes good things, and Tom Holland's obviously amazing. Not spectacular. Or even superior. We're getting a Lego set of the finale of No Way Home.
I know, yeah. Thank goodness.
With the actual named, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and the Amazing Spider-Man, because that's their Marvel MCU universe. That's their designations.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Because obviously he would be the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, because he is. It's nice, friendly New York. You mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. What else, dear boy? So what is it about?
What's the issue with Far From Home? Or what the issue? But
not the issue, but because I had a threshold where it was there was the bottom 7, and then it was kind of everything above here I think is really good quality. I think it's just the quality, everything above it is.
So I think
because I think for you definitively the bottom 3 or 4 for you are ones that you don't really enjoy.
Stinky. No, stinky. No, the bottom 4 are kind of Quantum Mania. I part of my consciousness can defend it slightly, but I'm not proud of it because of what's going on in real life. And I did enjoy it more than perhaps most.
Yeah.
So I think from 31 on here, but once I renumber it, so whatever number it is onwards, I think is when you hit the barely good mark. Because then of Love and Thunder, because those two are kind of in the same bracket for me. Yeah. Retrospectively, if this was a month or two ago, Quantum Mania would be a bit higher. But given hindsight and reflection, and
hindsight is 2020,
I just think it don't do much.
Okay.
And then from And the Wasp, I think is when you get to good entertaining where I feel the MCU's fine, and then whatever I get the most from.
Because even with Black Widow, I think there's at least like we've said before, there's a baseline level of cinema making quality.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got more. I've maybe controversially got more from Quantum Mania than I did Black Widow. Because that's how much Black Widow meant to me. No, I don't know.
Black Widow. So above Far From Home, you are
above Far From Home. Is Iron Man 3?
Pray tell, because many people hail this as better than Iron Man in some cases. I've heard
better than Iron Man 1?
I've heard some people before say that Iron Man 3 is the best Iron Man film.
That needs to be rewatched right this instance. Yeah, no, Iron Man 3 probably out of all these films so far is the one I need to watch the most. Because I feel like I haven't seen it for years.
Because it was the first threequel.
First trilogy done.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
It was the first one with a different director.
Yeah.
And what else? What else had it got? Obviously, it was the first post Avengers film. It was the first film of Phase 2.
Yeah.
it set up the trend of every film opening a phase has Robert Downey Jr. in it, which didn't carry on with fucking Black Widow because I wanted him to cameo in it. Because then it would have been, see, every film at the beginning always has Robert in it. We must dig Robert up.
Dig him up, dear boy.
Metaphorically, because he's not dead. He's just in Oppenheimer with me, Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
I make movies.
Nah. Christopher Nolan would be Dormammu.
Wow, yeah.
Christopher, I've come to bargain.
There
is no film you can offer me, Warner Brothers, that I would do. Because Oppenheimer's not with Warner Brothers?
No, it's another company. Is it Lionsgate even?
Wow.
Universal?
Wow.
It's one of those.
Because after...
It's not Paramount.
Yes, I can hear you, Paramount Fandango. Because after Dark Knight, they basically went, make any movie you want as long as you come back and finish the Batmans.
The Batman, yeah.
And then they gave him the fucking producer credit on Man of Steel, and it was like, let's make your universe dark and gritty about the colourful superhero. But we're not here about DC. I mean, this DC, our DC version of this video would be much shorter because it would be like, Suicide Squad's the best. Everything else apart from Birds of Prey and the first Shazam are shit. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yes, dear Chad. Goodbye.
So you had.
I've 31. Shit, I've missed one film.
Right, listen.
Oh no. Right. So started from the bottom. Now we're here. Thor 2, Iron Man 2, Captain Marvel, Black Widow, Quantumania, Love and Thunder, and The Wasp. Age of Ultron, Hulk/Ed, Far From Home,
Iron Man 3. You've got
Iron Man
Thor.
3, Thor 1.
So Thor 1. I really, I like, because like I said to you, I watched Thor 1.
Thor 1 might be even one or two higher. I don't know. You could change.
I think it's deeply underappreciated. I think Kenneth Branagh's he's a very good director. He's not got as much flair as other directors out there.
No.
As you would say, Wes Anderson's and those kind of. It's not like a set visual style.
No.
But I think what he did, even in the Cinderella remake, I think he's got a way. You think it's for stuff that on the surface could be pretty basic. It's a remake of a film we've already seen before. It's an origin story of a character that's just coming into this universe. I think the first Thor is the second best Thor film. Hands down.
Second. Sorry, I thought you said it's the second best Thor. It's hands down the worst. How does that make sense?
No,
but the second Thor is definitely the worst.
I think the first one is is Ragnarok overhyped possibly?
Yeah, it's a fair assumption.
And in years to come, the first one could theoretically overtake it. But I really enjoy that first one. I like Hemsworth. I like Hiddleston. It's at the beginning, so we have all this cast to get to know, and we go on that journey, and sometimes we don't like where that journey takes us. But
for some, and that guy, and that guy,
and them, and he's dead, and whoever that is. So Thor 1, so that's at number
20. Once I renumber it, because I think I've numbered it all, but I'm still at 31, so I've missed one.
Do you want me to check and see?
You tell me, dear boy.
While I do that, you talk about
what's next?
Eternals.
It's a film that lasted an eternity, according to people. No, I just think a film that's, again, very well crafted. The first one done by an Oscar award-winning director in Chloe Zhao. Biggest cast, one of the biggest sort of widest scopes in the plot. Again, whether you think it goes somewhere or not is kind of up to your interpretation. But I do think the scope for this film was massive.
You haven't got Multiverse of Madness on there.
MOM, yeah.
Mum,
yeah,
MOM. Okay. Both Doctor Stranges. You got both Black Panthers. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no. Eternals, one that just, again, like every film we keep saying so far, he's getting a load of slack. And when I watched it, I enjoyed it more than I initially thought. And I don't quite get the hate for it, really. I get it's a bit long. It's up there. I think it's the third longest or second longest MCU film at the minute still, as at time of recording. It is a bit long, I admit that. But I just really like all of the performances. There's not a favourite of mine.
Mm-hmm.
I just like the story. I just quite liked all of it, and it felt like a movie-made project. The cinematography was off the charts and out of this world. I just, I enjoyed those aspects of Eternals. If I was to break down individual character moments and scenes and dialogue, then maybe I could find more area for critique there. But I kind of like them all. I want to see them all again. I don't get the hate for Eternals. I think it was fine.
Ragnarok.
That's the one I've missed, you bastard. And I know where that one's going.
In the fucking bin. No.
Yeah, I know where that one's going. I can't believe Ragnarok.
Do you know what it is? I'm really glad you had a good time with Eternals.
Yeah, I did. Every time I've seen Eternals, I don't think there's been a bad time I've gone, bore off. I've stayed to watch it.
Because obviously, like, I didn't see that one at the cinema, which I think is the biggest crime, because I think I'd just missed it and like watched it when it came on Disney Plus, and it was one of them things of like with Multiverse of Madness was overhyped, like we're gonna have everyone and the cameos, and then like you get the whole thing of like this is the worst rated MCU movie on Rotten Tomatoes, and it doesn't deserve it. Because I don't think it has it now, because I think that's Quantum Mania.
I believe so, yeah.
But
yeah.
Even then, none of that really matters, because believe it or not, everything's still fucking based on opinion. And we've said before, like this film lives or dies on whether you have a good time with this cast or not. And I really gel with it. And I even respect I'm not fighting, like when King goes like, I'm not getting involved, like in the final fight thing, and like the whole, heel turn of Icarus being the bad guy, but it's not him being the bad. It's him, like he's being sent to do what the Celestials, want him to do. Like he's, doing what he's been born for, essentially.
Yeah.
And there's room to expand, because you've got like the Black Knight, and we've got all these things. We've got hopefully a sequel. I mean, fucking Druid won't be in it because he'll be busy in Gotham, but
yeah, well, yeah, he's busy. Yeah.
I really like, and I think it's the best, like. The best shot, like it's got.
That's what I mean. It's the cinematography.
The best cinematography, I think. Like, and we're talking natural cinematography, not the composition of CGI planets.
Yeah,
which,
no.
While they can still look good and still look like an amazing shot, like I think Chloe Zhao is just fucking. And it's the first time they played it up with like Academy Award winning.
That's what I mean. It was the first big like Oscar-worthy director, and it's like the first cinematography. Yeah.
And as much as it like. Its existence revolves around Thanos and the Snap is why this Celestial is birthing. It's very still sort of,
poignant and part of the overall story.
And yet on its own and very singular, and I like that. And, apart from the... when are people in the MCU going to talk about the fact that there's a Celestial hanging out the ground? It's like... Stuff like that happens all the time. They've probably hollowed it out like they're going to make it some version of Genosha, or it's full of adamantium and that's the X. Like, all that shit. Who cares?
Yeah.
We'll find out when it's written into the movie that it's written about.
Exactly.
Fucks. Anyway, so that was...
Number 20.
That was number 20. So that's cool. So, there's 12 films for you that it's better than, and I like that. So we're
Yeah, definitely.
Above Eternal. And the thing is, anything from here on out above Eternals anyway... I can probably tell
I'd say from number 19 to number 10, like the next 10 are kind of like 15 to 11 to 10 are kind of like interchangeable, I think.
Well, then let's journey with number 19.
Ant-Man 1. Ant-Man Uno.
Solid. Again, in that realm of could be higher, could be slightly lower. Really enjoyable.
Yeah. If I was feeling generous, it may go one or two higher, but I like where it is at the minute. I think it kind of rounds out the films that I like, that I think are good, the ones that I kind of get slacked on, but I still appreciate it for what it is and its individual watch. I don't think of the universe, I just think of the film itself. But yeah, introduce us to Paul Rudd and everyone else. My introduction to Michael Douglas, I think, ironically, as well. I hadn't really seen him in anything before, Ant-Man.
It's cool. Made you want to go back and look at this fabulous actor's work.
Yeah.
It's obviously got the hangover of what could have been.
Yeah, of course.
It's probably, if you look at it, it's probably the most studio interfered MCU film.
Yeah, it's up there. Yeah, definitely.
Along with probably Age of Ultron, because obviously this is the one where the director left.
yeah.
And then they kind of went, maybe we'll let them tell the stories, and
and MON,
and we'll like thingy it into a bit, but still, like I think that was kind of like. The thing of this is where we want it to go. Well, this is not where I want it to go.
Yeah, we have to redo it.
It was less of that for me, so I was kind of. But for me, this is kind of it's most interfered, but it still is a very competent, well-made film, and I think it's a solid origin story. It's fun. It's sorry to go back to like these kind of films.
Mm.
It's because it's why I like Doctor Strange, because it was like we haven't really been back to an origin story in a while.
No, we haven't. No,
And we had like two like near each other after we had like here's some sequels, here's some team up, and here's starting again. And he's a fun character.
He is.
The only thing that I dislike as the Ant-Man films have gone on is they've like ignored the actual genius that Scott is.
Yes. Yeah. Characterization, because they've gone for funny man as opposed to
cracking the safe, well, because they're built from this kind of metal from this year, so like they're more susceptible to the cold, so you can get it to expand, and then that's how he breaks the safe open. It's like that's
not average day shit that people would know.
Yeah,
there's no YouTube tutorial on how to break into a safe because it would get taken down straight away. Yeah, on the dark web somewhere. But yeah, exactly. No one knows that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But you say about Mr. Stephen Strange, because I think he's up next. Doctor Strange
Solid.
1. Yeah.
Again, I think the
to back Eternals, the cinematography journey, the inspired by Inception like visual effects and the magic. Benedict Cumberbatch himself is amazing.
Yes. So do you think like there's a weird sort of like snake eating its own tail here? Is like Inception inspired the visuals of Doctor Strange, and the Doctor Strange time loop inspired Tenet.
Right. Sure. Sure.
You copy my film.
Nolan inspired Marvel, and then Marvel inspired Nolan. Yeah, sure. Okay. Never thought of it like that.
Yeah, it's one of the ones that I'm genuinely gutted I didn't see in the cinema.
Yeah, I am. I would have loved it in 4DX. I think it would have been an amazing experience.
Yeah, that was just like sort of like that was like a year after it was becoming more prominent. But like, I like it. I really like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, again, iconic stuff. I just think he's great.
I know, like a lot of people would say,
Benedict Cumbersnatch.
Over who? Like over like what the fuck? What am I trying to think? I hate when I can't think of a like an overappreciate or like overhyped kind of actor kind of thing. But like he's not. He is good.
No.
He could have just been British. I think
Well, really, he was one. I'm not saying he's the first British actor to come over to the American property of Marvels, but he was probably one of the first big British names to really do it.
To do one, yeah. Because to be fair to Henry Cavill and Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield, they weren't stellar names
at the time. Yeah,
but Benedict Cumberbatch was very much a upward star trajectory, like his stuff in Sherlock is what we know him from. And it was like, him in that universe. Oh, I really can't wait to see him play with these other characters. Yeah, and they criminally give him the gloves in the post-credit scene.
I know, and he has it for Ragnarok, and then he never has them again.
But I don't think, and I've not actually looked at his hands, but I don't know if they still CGI on the scars, because I know some of it was practical, and then there was CGI enhancements because obviously he's had plating put up like all of his hands, and like he's literally got them like the scar detail in that first one is so great, like. Children's Age 4 is great. Yes. It's the start of the cinematic universe.
Yeah, the WCU.
For whitewash casting aside, I still think Tilda Swinton is a very good ancient one.
Yeah, I think she was cool. Gender flipped character that they kind of, again, I feel like the first kind of instance where they take a character, and they just flip it. Not for any reason, not to say we're better than the comics, but they did kind of just go.
And they put a different thing on it. And it was, gave an actor like Tilda Swinton the chance to just be weird and mysterious. It was. I know, like obviously, characters of like Asian heritage is what the ancient one should have been. But then, I think then they compensated for that by having Shang-Chi just be like a predominantly Asian cast throughout, apart from Ben Kingsley and the guy that plays Razor Fist.
Razor Fist. Who's Razor Fist? Taserface.
The one with the sword arms. That's Razor Fist.
In Shang-Chi, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. And he was the boxer guy in Creed 2. Yes. Florian something. He's a bodybuilder bloke. He's good. I just can't think of his name. Sorry.
Yeah. So apart from like them and like, it's a predominant Asian thing, and with the Tolkien white guys in Black Panther, it kind of I think one of like that kind of also put them like with the creative stuff of the directors. This kind of put them on a thing of, oh no, there needs to definitely be more inclusivity of it, like in these things. Because there was the uproar of, the ancient one's Asian. It's like, yeah, but also he was a man, and now it's Tilda Swinton playing the character. But okay, it's very sort of, because my mate Connor doesn't gel with like these, like he's not in any kind of way, but like he's not a thing of like I'm going to analyse the films I'm watching. Like
he just wants to watch it.
Yeah, because he had seen when we went to see Ragnarok, he had seen like bits of the first two Thor films and like Homecoming, and that was like about it.
Okay, yeah.
And then from that went and redid all the MCU in release order because I was like, that's the easiest way to do it.
Easy
Fuck
way to
doing
do
the
it.
timeline stuff because that's for another day if you're
Over your
feeling
head,
adventurous.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah.
And for him, Doctor Strange was like, yeah, it's okay, but enjoyed Multiverse of Madness more. But I think personally, I probably enjoy.
First one more than Multiverse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, I enjoy Multiverse. So it's what I'm feeling. I like.
Yeah.
If I'm feeling some Strange, I'm not unhappy with watching either of them.
Exactly. I think they're good. But going in between
Mm-hmm.
both films, we're going back to the Star Spangled Man. We're going back to World War Two. We're going back to Joe Johnston's
Ooh.
direction. I think
Yes.
it's Joe Johnston.
Yep.
Yes, Star Spangled Man, skinny CGI'd Chris Evans, who looks unbelievably skinny and
Stanley
frightening.
The Tooch was in the MCU, and
I
we
know,
forget
the
about it all the
Tooch.
time.
Yeah. But you know
And
who's
Tommy
saying
Lee.
Tommy
Sorry.
Jones? Oh
Sorry,
my
what
god!
do you think?
Going back to Tucci, we're talking about for Marvel enough and Thor and everything, and Taika, Mr. Waititi, because we were going on millions of subjects. Taika Waititi, when you Google them both, he actually looks a lot like Mr. Tucci, because the image of the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Yeah. The image from the Hunger Games. If that's a normal picture of Taika, you see it. I'm like, what?
You're saying
Lightning.
Taika's so eccentric he should live in a post-apocalyptic
Fantasy world.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dictate over what films we should see. Call it the film games.
Maybe. And now we have Jojo Rabbit again.
Again, yes.
Yeah,
just Van Divergent.
First Avenger. No, I really, I like it.
Soft touch. It might be one or two lower compared to some of the ones we mentioned, but I
First
dig
phase
it. The
is really
first
good.
hour, I think, is wicked. The origin is
Everything,
great.
everything in.
It gets you so pumped. I was
To be
like,
fair,
yes.
I like everything apart from.
Mm.
It's not even that I don't like it. I just think everything in World War Two is like it's a period piece Marvel movie. It's great.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah.
And Chris Evans is fantastic and starts him off on
And
this
and for my journey, that's the reason why I kept, because I missed Iron Man, I missed Hulk, and I missed Iron Man 2. So Captain America was my first film, without knowing it was the MCU. Then that was the first one I remember watching. 2011. I was there, well, not opening day, but I was there that weekend. I was like, damn, this guy's good.
And did you stay to the end credits the first time?
Yeah. I
So you saw the trailer for
Avengers, and I thought, oh my god, he's back so soon. Hype.
Nice.
No, I did think it was good though. I love First Avenger. And every time I watch it, it makes me think, damn, I'm here
You've
talking
got
about Marvel movies.
Yeah, so you got some of the, because there's some of them films that you get the nostalgia feels for, which you know
Yeah.
they might not be everyone's favourite, but you get them things that just push things. I get that with stuff I watch.
Yes.
Just the feeling and the time and basically the way it caught me while I was watching it.
That's what I mean.
It can boost it or change it or whatever. And I do love the first Avenger. I'm liking your list so far, and it's also near enough completely different to mine.
Well, it's good that we haven't go talk to Mum yet. And when I'm talking about
Multiverse
Mum,
of
I'm talking about the
Madness.
Multiverse of Madness.
Appreciate it. So that's number
16. Just missing the top 15.
That's not bad. Like still, like we could argue, and if we were really intricate, every film could be
In the top 15, at
every
least.
every film
yeah.
could swap around. Like
It can be.
realistically, like you could get to the end of this and be like, no, I want to do my whole list again.
I
but-
genuinely think from 20 onwards I can change.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Multiverse of Madness, you enjoy more than the first Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but I've only based
Even
that
though it's
on
missing
solo
20
rewatches, and it is missing 20 minutes. Yeah,
I
and they
think that's
change
why
God
it's-
knows what behind the
I
scenes.
think
yeah.
that's why it's slightly lower for me. It's just like if they had that last little, because it's so clearly like feels like something's cut for time.
It is. It is.
And like it's just over 2 hours. It's like I know after Endgame you don't want to be pushing two and a bit hour movies, but like
no.
that extra, even like 10-15 minutes to just kind of flesh out, have a bit more character, because the character moments in Multiverse of Madness I think are really sweet.
The first act is the best bit of characterization between Strange, Wong, and Shotty Gomez, America Chavez, when they're at the beginning. They talk about Spider-Man, and that's it. It's like it should have been that particular point. Should have been
I like the growth
Dressed
he's
upon.
been on since
Infinity War,
Infinity
really.
War and Endgame. He's
Yeah.
had to become more of a team player.
Mhm.
There's also, this is when he's feeling the consequence of those actions, because it's like, so well, how comes you decided that letting Thanos snap everyone away was the best thing to do? And it's like,
Yeah.
that those rules are not his own. Like
No.
he took a decision on the behalf of the universe, and
The cosmos. Yeah.
and like a lot of YouTube comment sections, there were some naysayers of his decision, but I really, and I think I wish there was more horror elements in it, like was when it was first announced, because I think Scott
Yes.
Derrickson really wanted to push more for the horror aspect of it, which I think Disney especially, because I don't think Kevin Feige would have had a problem with it, but I think Disney more
Might have,
have been sort of like
Corporate
kids,
chums.
we still want to make some money, so like don't push it too much into. Because I'd love to see like a 15 rated version of this,
And a proper uncut version of this.
even like directed by Derrickson or Raimi, like
Mm.
the fact that they replaced the horror director with a horror director
I mean, it's good.
says
Thank
a lot.
goodness.
And it's still like, for all the, it's like not like Solo in terms of quality, but in terms of like Solo, like for all the films that have had these behind the scenes kind of calamities, to still be as good and as competent as they are is
That's
amazing.
what I mean. It is. It is. And out of all these films in this whole list, it probably is the most, because of the concept, because of the name, and because of the expectancies and the years prior of reading knowledge that the multiverse topic creates and discussions and sets aside in your mind. I imagine for this will probably be at the bottom for some. It might be the best for some. Few, I imagine, because I feel like there's more naysayers than positivity regarding this particular movie.
Okay.
But it's subjective, and I do think it's slap bang in the middle. I think it's fine for what we got. It absolutely could have been the next like pivotal saga movie that it should have been on paper.
Okay.
But
Do you know what the best
I
thing
love
is?
what we
I've
got.
no idea what's coming next, and I'm really enjoying this.
do you have no idea at all?
No.
Nothing. Well, let's go back to Queens. Let's go back to Brooklyn. Friendly neighborhood homecoming
Homecoming?
Spider-Man. Yeah.
Do you know the only thing with Spider-Man in the MCU, and it was just basically Iron Man Jr., is I just want some friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, to quote the line from Infinity War, how can you be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood? To get back to that will be great, and I love the stuff at the beginning of like the first hour of Homecoming. I think is the
epic.
best Spider-Man
that
stuff that
we've
we've
got.
seen in so long. John Watts directed, 2017 motion picture, the first co-production between Sony
And
and Marvel.
Yeah.
And why is it number 16?
15.
15, the top 15 of your
Um,
list.
Michael Keaton and Peter in the car. I mean, that scene.
Keaton is
Yeah, Michael
fucking amazing, apart from Morbius.
Apart from Morbius, where
Yes,
there's two lines.
Yeah, so it's got something to do with Spider-Man, I think. Even, like, how the fuck did you know that?
You there, boy. How'd you know that? Yeah.
Like the home movie stuff, the different angle of Civil War, because obviously they couldn't show everything how it was, because then that's the other movie that they would have. So they sort of, that's why it's slightly different to that scene. Like, oh, he's big now, gotta go. The weird 8 years later cut thing is just, fuck's sake.
Could you not?
Sony, you can pick any year 8. Oh,
Hey.
fuck. Which
And that
retroactively,
was
I think
the-
is just ignored. Like, if they took that subtitle out, I don't think I'd have a problem with it.
No issues.
Should just,
Because that's the movie
it
that
should've
fucked
just
up the
hard-
continuity.
Yeah, it should have just hard cut to present day, like a film by Peter Parker.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the pre-credits thing. Because that's before the MCU logo. Because I like that. Because that's very few of them have actually had that. Like you've
Pre-credits. Yeah.
had Endgame, this, the first one was Guardians. Because they were like, as important as the post-credit scenes are, the pre-credits are gonna sort of be like. Because the pre-credits of Doctor Who, in the modern run, they made that kind of like part one of the serialized things. Because like you'd always have like a cliffhanger. So they
Yeah.
some of that stuff, like that's why it would kind of end on a cliffhanger and go into the title sequence, because that was almost like there's your sort of mini part one, and then we get to the crux of the narrative.
Yeah.
And like you get parts of that in like the MCU films, like, and I think because we'll have to go back and see like which ones, because I think Wakanda Forever has one, because that's T'Challa's death.
Oh my god. Yeah. Before the crawl. Yeah. The
Yeah.
opening crawl.
But I really like this one because it's really setting up of like gets fucked over, and then it because it goes on for a bit, and then gets to him like then. Like, the world's changing, guys. Time we change too. And Michael Keaton is fucking fantastic. Because this was in the McKeaton...
The Keaton songs. What?
That's not Nathan McConaughey. The
Alright.
The Keaton comeback. That's what we
The
call
Keaton comeback. Okay. Yeah.
Like this, The Founder, the newspaper one. I forget what that one's called, but that one's really good.
I get that confused with the other movie. That's
Big Short.
The Big Short.
That's
yeah.
what I get it confused with.
What the hell is that one called?
We'll have to Google that soon.
What the hell?
Michael Keaton is fabulous as Adrian Toomes.
Mm.
Tom Holland is
wicked.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei,
Brilliant.
brilliant and still drop dead gorgeous.
Yeah.
the Tony Stark hangover is a bit kind of like
Only, yeah, no friendly neighbourhood stuff for that first hour, and then, like you say, the Iron Man wait, and it's a reminder of, yes, you are in our films.
like the bit when he's talking of like to Happy and like doing his normal Spider-Man stuff. Like that's the kind of stuff we want to see.
Exactly.
And then like obviously it gets dragged into like more of these adventures. And I think Homecoming for me is the best out of the three in terms of just if you're going for pure Spider-Man because he is essentially from like Spider-Man Ultimate, but like condensed down and sort of like done in a way like, and that's I think the smart decision that Marvel made when producing it was like we'll do it in a way that's like he's influenced by it so that he can work on his own or work, but you're trying to have him work with these like characters, and Sony would like put these characters in it and we'll get more money in it, because then you get like Nick Fury and that in Far From Home, and then obviously Doctor Strange is in No Way Home. So they kind of always play off that in a movie of like, here's the character from the other series you like. But I do like, and I like the start of the Spider-Man theme in this film series. The dun 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 dun. The Danny Elfman version is essentially just the Batman theme, but like Spider-Man-y.
Yeah.
But Danny, it's good because
Batman and Spider-Man crossed over, and we didn't even realise.
Spider-Bat. Yeah, Homecoming, solid, mate. I'm liking these. What we got as we move on?
A war of the civil kind. Team Iron Man, Team Cap. Who was right? We still don't know to this day.
Civil War was like 10th for me, but
I think it was a good couple spots higher. I think it was in your top 10, whereas it isn't for me.
But I also think like it could have not been in there because I think, like you say, when you're judging them on like the basis of the film itself.
The only issue I have with it, apart from the
Avengers
infamous
Light?
airport,
Is it because it's Avengers Light for you, or
No, I just think it's the stealthy, villainous scheme of Zemo, who is so behind the scenes. It isn't until before the Cap and Iron Man showdown at the end that you forget he's in it. He's so behind the curtain that I feel like I'm watching two different movies.
Yeah, I get that. But also, he's the first villain that wins.
That wins, yeah, totally. Got to give him some credit.
And
Daniel
I
Brühl.
think
I remember who
what
he
we
is.
got out of him out in Falcon and Winter Soldier then gave us more of the actual Baron Zemo. This is a more appropriated version of Zemo to fit with the because a lot of these characters will be amalgams of other characters like meshed together and like sort of condensed down stuff to fit in the universe that's already created on film.
I love how this movie essentially does build upon prior material, and again for newcomers, this is not the movie to fucking start with because so much of it goes over your head, and the weight and consequence of each individual's decisions aren't realised unless you've done your homework and watched everything up to this point. Start of Phase 3.
Consequences for the previous Avengers films and some of the previous solo films.
And sets up what happens next as well, and consequentially.
Sets us up for the finale as well.
From a character point of view,
Yeah. The return of General Ross.
Yeah.
And, we have some... Oh, yeah, the Hulk was important. We have all these characters starting to... Because that's the thing, because I know it was a thing of, like, Phase 2 is very much... But why can't you call the Avengers? Have another Avengers.
Phase 2 was just kind of like what happened after Avengers for a lot of the characters.
Separate. Yeah. And then Phase 3 kind of lent into... No, some of these would not be together all the time, but like if they're in like this Avengers like facility, they're all gonna kind of be there. They're gonna like run into like you would in other issues of comics, like they would kind of interact, or drop in, drop out, like. And then like with Ragnarok, you got Hulk and Thor together because that would make sense. Because the thing is, he jetted off, but then he got caught in a wormhole and went to space, and that's Thor's traveling in space, and that's to interact with them, to have that, but then also not to force it.
Yeah, exactly.
To make it feel like still very naturally like a progression thing.
Inlined.
So that's why I like that they all interact together. They all have their own views. It makes you see it from both sides. Yeah,
brilliantly. There's not one side where you feel left wing or right wing. It's not freaking like to get a political conservative or Tory. It is you understand both agendas. There's no right or wrong answer depending on what your individual mindset is. Because I feel like this film relies down on the individual viewer and how you think and how you would act if you were input in those scenarios. And it does build off of films that we haven't discussed yet, but I just, aside from the sneaky back cut villain plot, because the only thing is as well, it's Avengers filled. It's not Avengers Light. I feel like you're watching the Avengers movie for like a good, not quite, almost 2/3.
It's
That you get
the
backtracked
in-between,
on where
'cause
you are.
It feels very much in parts like the sequel stuff to
To
Winter
Age
Soldier.
of right, yeah.
And
But then it feels like an Age of Ultron
but
follow up as well.
But then, yeah, because it's Age of Ultron follow up, it's got to set up the rest of the phase and by proxy the end of the saga, like where we go, and then build upon that and all these things, and tie in all these elements and set all these elements off on a path. And to be fair, introduce 2 characters to the MCU in Black Panther and the first
Spider-Man.
You've got 2 appearances of Spider-Man back to back.
Yeah, I know that wasn't intentional. But yeah, I again, if some of these individual films move up, this one might go down. But again, I like where it is. I'm happy with where it is.
I think for me. It should always. I know it was just in the top 10, but I think it should always skirt that line between the top 10 and like honourable mentions of like it's a very good, well-made film.
It's a very yeah.
I just think there's others better than it.
Yeah.
And it's I think emotionally stakes-wise, like you say, where it sets us off on.
Yeah, you can't fault it. You can't pretend it didn't happen.
I think just there are better movies that work because if
As
the movie works on
individual
its
units,
own, not just as part of the story. So yeah, that's cool. So that's what's number 13.
So number 13 is Guardians Volume 2. Kurt Russell and his planet making babies and celestial child.
So all of your Guardians films are in the top 13.
Yes. Yes, they're in the top 15. Yes.
Some would say, could that possibly be biased because we recently rewatched all those things for the new one?
Potentially.
Or a consistent level of filmmaking quality from a very good film director.
Across the best Marvel trilogy? The best Marvel trilogy?
It's, for me, it's Ty...
because going back to Cap...
Best MCU trilogy. Like, I would say Cap because of progression. But I think Civil War is kind of like, it's very sort of like first Avengers good, like really good, and then it's obviously like setting into Avengers, but Winter Soldier just changes everything. And
Everything.
It's such a fucking 10 out of 10 film.
Yeah, it is.
And then you've got Civil War, which is kind of like, it's doing good stuff, but it's kind of tied down by here's all the stuff that we've got to do with this film and not just tell our story.
Yeah.
So for me, Guardians is top notch, and Guardians 2 gets a lot of hate, and I think I could say any of the Guardians films are my favourite.
Right, that's the argument.
Number 3
now.
is.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think number 2 is really, like, people say it's like not funny or not strong and it's very weak and it's a very middling sequel. I can see aspects of that, but I really
take away the well, I can't give away how many spots, but take away some of these MCU films. Guardians 1 and 2 for me are like back to back in terms of ranking, kind of.
So they're very close for you.
They are close. I won't say how close.
Because like, we've had that, like, even with like when I've said to you like my film ranking thing of I've got like basically like there's a gap where I think in terms of quality into like where I think it was like my third and my fourth was like originally there was like these are very okay movies, but I know that there's movies that could definitely fit in that gap there. Might not necessarily go to the top, that kind of thing. Because because I've started to see some better. Because
now we're in that position where it's like now I think you're above.
It's kind of millimeters.
I think you're above the films that I think are good that may get slacked on, or the ones that are kind of like for a lot of people. Now you're getting into like the dangerously close ones, as in on any given day I might say, no, but this is better than that. Blah, 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 blah. And the car outside agrees as well. But I'm going to go number 12. I'm going to say...
I think the bottom ones, they're kind of like 6 out of 10, 6 out of 10s. And then we're getting in with the top ones, you're getting kind of like 9.1s, 9.12s. Like it's that kind of fine margins.
The fine margins, yes.
So you're next one above Guardians 2.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the 12 Rings. Shang-Chi.
So that's number 12 for you?
Number 12, yes.
Still, it should have been number 10 for me. But, like, it's kind of near enough. Like, I like how our lists are completely different, but we still kind of agree on where we put our own stuff.
I think the only thing I'd say about Shang-Chi is the third act. It does kind of dip. And that's with every time I watch it, even with the cinema... When I've watched it at home, it does kind of naturally go off a little bit.
The progression, and it kind of slows down a bit, but I think in terms of what it's got to do for the story.
The representation, the culture, the story, I do really like the story and the scope of it.
And I think Destin Daniel Cretton has done a fabulous job, and I can't wait to see what he does with Kang Dynasty.
Yeah.
Especially because he was like, I fucking don't want to direct any of those Avengers films.
I ain't doing none of that. Just
Doing
guy.
Avengers 5.
And even Wonder Man. Rumoured Wonder Man, not confirmed, but Wonder Man.
I think he's directing episode 1.
Oh, he's not the overall runner of it then?
No, it's like he's going to like run it like in a Favreau way.
Showrunner. Yeah, like showrunner.
And then I think he's going to direct the pilot, and then like you're going to have other people come on
Do
and
the rest.
have a visual style. But we
Yeah.
still don't know about that because we've not heard about that in fucking ages.
What is that, you wonder? We'll find out in 3 years' time.
And do you know what? It's one of them films that like I was surprised by because it wasn't the one I was excited for. That Phase 4 one. I was excited for the comeback in Black Widow.
Yeah.
I was really excited for Eternals in terms of something new. And obviously, Spider-Man: No Way Home at that point was like, we don't
The
know
most
what the
talked
fuck's
about
gonna
thing on the
happen.
planet, yeah.
But Shang-Chi took me by surprise, and it's, for me...
It's one of the few times in the last couple of years where I've genuinely sat there with my jaw opened the whole time and thought, this is great.
And for it to be an MCU movie to do that, where you're kind of like... Because I've probably sent you loads of them things where it's like, it's fucking Michelle Rodriguez, like, well, cause how many Marvel movies can you actually make? Like,
yeah.
As much as, like, taking the piss, but, like, I do get that. But there's always been the flair of like directorial style and visual things and the different characters. But this kind of felt so different from what come before in a good way.
Totally,
It felt
1,000,000%.
It felt familiar in terms of what we knew, but it was a completely new way
Of telling the
I loved it. And
Yeah.
it's one of the things that it's one of the sequels I can't wait for when that gets one. Like,
Yes.
as soon as that gets announced, I'm like, yeah.
Pre-order and get my seats there. Yeah, I'm not doing anything that day. Yeah, no, I'm
And
1,000,000%.
Simu Liu, one of the genuine most nicest people in Hollywood.
Yeah, and what a find! What an introduction to me as well. I hadn't heard of him before Shang-Chi, and now
I can't
he's
wait to
a
see him in the Barbie
worldwide
movie.
name. He's freaking Ken in Barbie. What a promotion!
He's fucking Ken, or he is Ken.
He is. He is
having
one of
sex
the
with Ken.
the Kenverse. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
What a promotion!
fantastic. Next,
Black Panther.
so Black Panther just misses out on the
The
top 10.
Black Panther 1.
Oh,
Yes.
Can I say, I like your standards. I really do. Because
Aye, good sir.
I love Black Panther. I think it's very sort of like above average, just like in the just below the top 10 for me.
It's not aged like fine wine yet. It's in that molting point. It's there, but it's not quite
and I
there.
think retroactively we'll get more appreciation for it because of the tragic events that surround the star.
Yes. Yeah.
So we'll always be like, oh, wouldn't it be good to have more of this? Like, that's a lot what I get now when I watch Black Panther is I just wish we had another one with Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, we do.
It proves that Ryan Coogler is still a fantastic, like, amazing director, especially if you watch the Assembled on Wakanda Forever. He's very emotional and he's very sort of like, he's very like for a young, like he's a young guy, not like super young, but like he's like, you know, in his 30s and he's kind of like very sort of like on the ball with everything. It's like with Destin Daniel Cretton, it's like if I'm on this, I'm across all of it. Like I'm not I'm not half-assed like when they've had directors in the past and be like, oh no, we've got guys to do the action stuff. It's like no, like if this is my film, this is my film.
Yeah.
And his presence and like is how he sort of incorporates this world in Black Panther in both of them, I think is just so genuine and so beautiful that you get like he made the theme something that like when the music kicks in like in Infinity War, it's like I think I know someone. It's like dun, 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 and you're like yeah, fuck yeah, we're going to Wakanda. And, like even that brief feel of the world, as much as it wasn't his movie, like because they had got all the directors on board for like a advisory capacity of like where would you want, like this is where we find this character, this is where you want us to leave him, like is this like what we're doing with them, like yeah, and it, like the the whole cast of Wakanda are fantastic. The score is amazing. The soundtrack by Kendrick Lamar is amazing as well. It's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
I got the privilege of actually getting to see it in the cinema post passing because they re-released it
for that week.
I actually managed to finally see it in the cinema,
and it was a good experience, wasn't it? It was
really good, and obviously a lot of the people in there are the same as me, like they'd watched it before and they'd obviously come to watch it as a thing of maybe they hadn't seen it the first time. And I think I got more out of it watching it on the big screen and sort of having a more emotional investment in it, and I think the emotional investment is obviously more carries over into the second one,
which is coming up next. It's number 10.
Just like me, back to back Black Panthers. I think Did I have them Wakanda Forever and then the first one, or did
I think you did. No, I think you did have them back to back, like me. But
interchangeable?
they are interchangeable.
They're so very consistently good, like the Guardians films. Like they're so very good. They could easily be. I'd probably need maybe like in a year or so, like when there's been a while since Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, where I can kind of like go right. This is this, and try like as hard as it is. You've got to try and got to separate it from the real life
occasion, passing of it.
Go talk about Wakanda Forever,
man. Literally everything you just said, copy and paste, bang. Wakanda Forever, it literally amplifies everything that captures the magic of the first film, but everything about the world building, but not from over the seas, also underseas. I was quite fascinated by the underwater Atlantean culture, and I think Namor was fantastic. Like that whole world, like he did everything he did for Wakanda, he did with Telecon. Telecons, I was gonna say Telecons, not non-Atlanteans, but I respect it. Ties into more Aztec-y mythology legends as opposed to the legend under the sea that isn't SpongeBob SquarePants. He captures the magic overseas and underseas. Again, Namor is the only standout Atlantean. You do get Atuma and Namorita, but they are just background people. And then, should they be expanded upon in future runs, then maybe the Atlanteans as a whole collective could get more. Because whereas, like you've mentioned, the Wakandan characters overseas, they all have identities, all have personas. It's only Namor, the Atlantean, and that's it. And everyone else is kind of fodder at the minute.
Because we've not really seen it yet, have we?
Yeah, well, we know he's coming back for Kang Dynasty at least for now, as of now.
Hopefully we see a lot more of him. The actor, I forget his name, but he's fucking amazing.
Tenoch Huerta or something.
Tenoch Huerta. Wow,
yeah.
It's a lovely mouthful of a name.
Lovely mouthful of a name.
A lovely mouthful of a movie.
Again, Ironheart, I get where this might fall for some people and be like, oh, this is once again an MCU product.
That felt very, and here's the Disney Plus. Do you know what it is for me? It was that bit in the post-credits of Black Widow, and it's like, and go watch the Hawkeye show. Yeah.
And back to the real world. Yeah, that's the only thing.
I like what's her name that plays Riri Williams?
Dominique Thorne.
Dominique Thorne. She's fantastic, and she's we can only really judge her when we see the Ironheart show, which it was not high on my list of things I'm looking forward to. No, but now as it gets
give
closer,
it a decent chance. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
I liked what she did in this. Was she needed? That's more of a subjective grey area, but everything about this film was done heartfelt, continues the spirit and magic of the first, but on such a more personal level because of the real life tragedy. Once George is, like he said, once this film has passed on a bit longer, we can view it as more of an individual thing over time. We'll just have to see how it fares up against the Magic Ghost, the original. But as a companion piece, as a sequel, a film that we nearly didn't get as well.
We nearly didn't get it.
We were like 80% close to.
Some of the really good ones have been films that we've nearly not get. Guardians 3.
Well, where is that, I wonder?
So we're fully in the top 10.
So single digits.
Go. Number 9.
Hey, what's the matter with you? Guardians 1 is not in the top 5. Guardians 1
of the Galaxy.
Yeah, Guardians 1.
Hit me with it, big boy.
Come and get your loving boy. It introduced us to Chris Pratt, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, the phenomenal fucking actor and a destroyer. Groot, a tree. When have I ever cared about a tree in a film? Never before this. And a talking raccoon, trash panda, rabbit, whatever you want to call him. Just a bunch of names that I sort of knew actors-wise, but again, totally like Shang-Chi to compare it to. Walk in, jaw drop. Oh, that was fucking funny. Get rid of the superhero margin. I think it's still one of the best comedies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I think it's all sort of on point, and it's very fresh and new. And it's that point where Marvel were like,
it's a fine time capsule.
There was the confidence in the brand for them to just be like, we can do whatever character. Because this was the proof of whatever character we do. Like, we turn the Guardians of the Galaxy into household names.
And that's exactly what happened. Because even at that very point in 2014, every other prior installment was kind of like a follow-up to at least 2012 Avengers. Iron Man, what's he up to here? Thor, what's up to here? Captain America, I know it came out after Guardians 1, but every installment of the MCU was very much tied around the Avengers at that point. And then Guardians is the first film where you're like,
here's a completely different
how's this going to fit with them? But don't worry, you'll get to that part yet. But
And that's the
completely
thing. It was very
different.
separate. Like it,
No,
the Infinity War thing was like the link, but also it didn't need. It didn't really matter because that's not important yet.
No, it definitely weren't.
No.
And like you say, anything can happen with magic, and pixie dust has spread over the Guardians, and they're now freaking icons. Not just of the comic book genre, but even of the last decade. I feel they've really just gone from a nothing geeky brand to like one of the coolest things that people want to cosplay as.
Yeah,
The Guardians are sick. And it's all because of this film.
People love Kraglin.
Kraglin.
People love Yondu.
And
it's because
Drax.
of these films.
Yeah.
And shout out Michael Rooker on obviously the soundtracks for all of these films. But I think in terms of diegetically, the first one, like I said before, is just so on point. The way that whole thing fits, that's really the best melding of soundtrack with score with cinematics. It's lovely.
It's lovely. Makes me cry.
So number 8.
The one that started it all.
No.
The Man Made of Iron.
The man with the iron lung.
Yes, Robert Downey Jr. against freaking what's his name, Jeff Bridges as Oddjob.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scrap. Have you seen the round table interview that Jeff Bridges done recently? And Pedro Pascal was there as well.
Yeah.
And they talk about video game stuff, and he's like, yeah, because like so. I don't know who's asking. Like, oh, so you didn't play it? I was like, I tried playing it, but I just couldn't get into it. And then Jeff Bridges goes, I got sucked into a video game. Oh, yeah, really? Which one? Tron. Oh, Tron. And everyone's like, no one got Jeff Bridges' joke that he literally got sucked into the video game.
Oh dear, no one knows what Tron is. Oh, hashtag justice for Tron.
Tron's this. Summer Tron's this. Iron Man. The thing is, there are some films that, like with Casino Royale, for example, some films in this series are held in such high regard that when you go back to them, you're kind of like, oh, is it still gonna hold up? Is it still
that? Yeah.
Is it still that good?
Is this really the beginning? Yeah.
But Iron Man is the Casino Royale, not the Quantum of Solace. Fucking hell, is the Casino Royale of this.
It's the Die Another Day.
It's the For Your Eyes Only. It's never say never again. Yes. Because like with that film, for me, every time I watch this, like I fail to come away with it without enjoying it. Like, and in some ways, like I know it's not in terms of that quality of filmmaking. Like it's nearly there, but like it's like for the restrictions of the studio, like we don't want Robert Downey Jr. No, listen, he'll take a pay cut. We'll prove that he's the guy for this. And in the end, they built a whole fucking universe around him. Yeah. And we put the little stinger right at the end, thanks to Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright said put it right at the end because originally it was after just the first bit of the credits. Like it was originally a mid-credit scene, but they put Nick Fury right. He said do it like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, put it right at the end, so that then if people find it, they'll be like, oh, I wonder, like, is that going to be followed up on? But a lot of people might miss it and not realise that there's something else coming, and retroactively you're going to make people wait and sit through these credits, and in the end take the piss out for some of them. But so we're going to talk to you about patience. Iron Man is definitely one of those films that the more you watch it, the more I love it. I think everything just about that is just so sort of, it encapsulates like this is the MCU
at its heart
right here. This man is the centre of it. You know, and in a very meta level, like, you know, you're part of this bigger universe, you just don't know it yet. And we fucking went on that. And from where he starts to where he ends, character-wise,
fantastic stuff.
He has the best character arc and some of the best character development in the MCU. Like, same with Cap, they kind of cross paths and go the other way. Yeah. Like, you know, but he's the OG. He goes from this arms dealer to the man, the man who made the sacrifice play.
The man with the golden armour.
Literally. A little hot rod red in there. Oh yes, that's completely inconspicuous, sir. We get the stuff with Jarvis. We get Gwyneth Paltrow probably in the only film she actually remembers doing. Yeah, yeah. Jeff Bridges is a phenomenal villain. Yeah. You know, they kind of merge Obadiah Stane and the Ironmonger together to make them one thing, to the symmetry of like, oh, this is just, that's just the villain. Like, because they do a lot of that, especially with Iron Man villains. They get, because it's I forget, like, is it like Scarlet Centurion and Whiplash that they meld together for Whiplash for Iron Man 2, something like that?
Crimson Dynamo, I think.
Crimson Dynamo for Scarlet Centurion. I'm fucking making Kang. It up. So it's that kind of stuff that I'm like, It's so simple, it's elegant, and it's the thing that starts that it all stems from here. It's the seed.
It is the seed that growed and flourished into a beautiful plant.
And you love it as much as.
Pretty much. I mean, I've only really seen it maybe once or twice fully. It's been, again, like Iron Man 3, it's been a while since I need to watch it.
High as well, because I know you've said a lot of these, like, because you only really rewatch it when we're coming up to the next one.
Next properties come up, yeah.
But for it to still be that high on the list, to have watched it that many times, I think speaks a lot about the quality.
Yeah, it's definitely unique and stands out and is one of a kind, really.
Yeah.
And without it, we wouldn't be talking about it right now.
Oh, yeah.
Really. So, Iron Man 1, fucking phenomenal stuff.
Fabulous. Next.
Well, never say never again, because there's
Sean Connery.
There's no way he's going to be Spider-Man, not even in his house.
Yes, I'm Spider-Man. Do I get to have sex with a sexy Spider-Woman? No, Sean. No. How much am I getting paid? All right, let's do it. Sean Connery is not in Spider-Man No Way Home. And do you know
never
what?
Say never.
I think I agree. That's kind of as high as No Way Home could go. Because nostalgia can only carry you so far, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's a great movie. It's the best Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, that we never asked for, but yeah, literally as well.
Well, he has. Tom has the best third movie in the trilogy. Toby has the best second movie in the trilogy, and I think Andrew probably has the best first movie in the trilogy. Because I could argue that Sam Raimi's Spider-Man is better, but in terms of some of the stuff it does, it's kind of like some of the updated stuff with that and what they go into. It's just then the Amazing Spider-Man 2 just shits all over. It. Yep. So everyone just thinks that all their movies are bad. But to be fair, that's what we'll give Andrew. We'll give him the first one.
We'll give him the first one. Yeah.
It's Amazing Spider-Man is definitely better than Homecoming, but that's a whole different story. Why do you love? Because we saw No Way Home. This is one of the few that we saw together. Opening day morning.
Yeah, literally early in the morning, not midnight, like 3 o'clock in the morning, but it was like 8 o'clock. I thought, blimey, it's freezing cold, this film ain't going to be all that. It's Spider-Man, and we're still going to give it like an 8 out of 10 regardless. And by God, I still sit there and I'm like, what the fuck we just watched? It felt illegal watching it early in the morning, knowing that we watched it before the world in some instances.
I like them ones that we've managed to do too, because it was such a poignant film post Endgame, because it was like,
and it was such a damn good Christmas movie,
and it was the start of this multiverse stuff. It really did going on. We had Doctor Strange, we had the returning cast of Peter's class post the snap again, because I know we had like with Far From Home and that, but like really No Way Home, it was kind of like, and what is happening now? What is happening now? Because Far From Home was the epilogue of the Infinity Saga. This was kind of like, and where do we go now with this character that's clearly going to stick around for a bit longer? Because it's fucking Spider-Man.
And he makes money. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, filmed in the pandemic. It was post the Sony breakup, when they eventually come back together for another 2-picture deal that they'll carry on extending as long as they make money, or Apple will just buy out Sony.
Yeah.
What's for you? What do you love most about this film?
Again, if I was to get my thinking cap and critique the fuck out of it, Doctor Strange going through a spell that changes the cosmos and affects the universe and affects every single life and blah 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 blah, yet doesn't tell the kid how a spell works, should put this movie fucking 20 spaces down. But what happens after that?
Disbelief, otherwise there is no movie.
Yeah, of course, yeah, no, ultimately.
Like the whole thing of, he does the spell and like, why don't you just tell your girlfriend again? Like, because then you don't have your movie.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, no. Aside from all that, it's just, again, still to this day. I mean, it's not even 2 years old yet. It's some of the best shit, like at least in the cinema, I feel like I've seen in a lot, and just hit me in such a way that its Endgame level of feels. It doesn't quite deliver across on every fucking arc, because Endgame had 20 million people. This is only has about what?
3.
3. But who matters, eh? Ooh.
It did start that trend of it's Endgame level, which Jurassic World Dominion also did, and it was like.
But then MCU levels after No Way Home, there's not been a film that's lived up to Endgame type level. And Guardians being the exception.
Like we've said, the films haven't got worse. It's just
No,
our
no, no.
standards are raised because
Through
of,
the fucking roof. Yeah.
because of Infinity War and Endgame. Like where that was a crescendo. That was the end of
10 years worth of storytelling.
10 years worth of storytelling. In this saga, this journey, this was kind of like that whole saga. You look at it and you go, "That's one thing. That's one block of storytelling."
Yeah.
You go on to the next one. You're like, "Well, I want what we just got, which was the end of it." It's like, no, because then you've got to go back to your Iron Man ones, your Thors, your Captain America, first Avengers. You've got to go back to them, introduce new characters, see what old characters are doing now. Like this, and also did feel like a big celebration of 20 years of Spider-Man, and sort of like
it does all of that Endgame magic, Avengers magic, but on a solo level. And at that time, even we were thinking, oh, wouldn't it be nice if Spider-Man and Tobey came back? But of course, that's the power of fan fiction. That's the power of, Twitters and tweets and opinions, and of course dreams, fantasies. That we knew none of this realistically was going to happen in my mind, but the fact that it did,
and it was so beautiful, and we got closure.
and
on,
the story did it. It weren't just the fact that we saw them on screen and go, yeah, cool, this is the movie.
Yeah.
It's the fact that the story
It
worked
was-
in its
it was
favour,
in-
did the magic
It
for
was
me.
in service of the story. It wasn't
Yeah.
just to make a story
Way,
happen around.
yeah, that's what I mean. It weren't.
Because we got closure for Peter 3. We got
Yeah,
closure
Peter
for
3.
Andrew Garfield's Spider, the man
Yeah.
who we never got to have a trilogy of. But then it also gave Sony the idea of, oh, let's actually make Amazing Spider-Man 3. It's like, no, we wanted Amazing Spider-Man 3 in 2016 when we was going to get it. Like,
Yeah,
now it's kind of, you just leave
passes
that life.
Wimbo. Yeah,
You can use him in that and have him be the Venomverse fucking Spider-Man if you want, or just do Miles in that universe.
Yeah, yeah. Do
So-
something with it.
Sony learned a lot of good lessons from this and a lot of bad lessons from this, and I think it was nice for Marvel to just kind of be like, here's a big celebration. Like, I know it's a bit soon after Endgame. Well, it's only like it's a couple of years after Endgame. Let's have a big celebration of this character, and it sets him up on a new path and effectively makes his trilogy the origin story, which we both
Which was
have been-
beautiful.
we've
That's
both been a
probably the
big
best
fan
thing
of.
about it. Yeah.
But it also leaves it in a place of, if the deal breaks down,
Hmm.
it makes sense for him not to be there.
It does. It does. Yeah.
But it won't be, because we'll have loads, and I wanted to fight the Kingpin.
Yeah.
And it has the Portals moment, like having those kind of moments, like for me and you, I think especially, like to actually, because I know there was rumors and stuff before, and the leaked stuff, but like to actually see like, oh fuck, Daredevil's in this.
Evil Knievel himself is back. Yeah, I know.
Just for it to be like,
To me, that was even a bigger reaction than Toby and Andrew, because they were talked about for like the last 9
everyone
months.
expected it, and it was
Yeah.
like, oh no, it's a Photoshop.
But fucking Charlie Cox, who
Even
hasn't
though
been
you'd
seen
had
since
that
2016,
that leak
15?
or whatever, but it was like, because when I went to see it with Lara later that day, like it was like, if they're dropping him in it, like surely there's more to come. Like
Yeah,
if
that's
they're
what-
okay with just dropping Matt Murdock in it, like right, at the
Just
beginning.
randomly, yeah.
It was just just long hold pull out of no way. That's that fucking blind man. Oh my
And it
god!
was like,
it's
oh my
Matt
god! It was like, holy shit!
Murdock! Which they kind of, I think they tried to retroactively recreate with the Illuminati.
Yeah,
They're kind of like,
yeah.
oh, here's these characters, like, and it's
The only person I reacted was John Krasinski, just because I didn't expect to see it.
Do you know, yeah, but for me, that would have been better if it was Ewan Griffith. But
Yeah.
also for me, the biggest shock was fucking hell, that's Black Bolt.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. Black Bolt was still in the costume.
in
I
the
was like, yes,
costume.
that's cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful.
But no, yeah, we got some closure on some characters. I think, in terms of this origin trilogy, I think it's nice that they kind of went, no, this kind of needs to build to the, and he has his Uncle Ben moment, but it's his
It's
Aunt
the other way
May
around.
moment,
A story that we haven't done before.
and it leaves him in a place that, as the script says, Peter Parker is no more, but Spider-Man lives on, and I can't wait to see. It's one of them ones where, like, with a returning character, I'm like, I want to see them back,
Yeah.
preferably in a solo film before fucking Kang Dynasty.
Oh, of course. They
I want him
have to
lead the
be.
Avengers next. I want him.
It'll
to
be Across the Spider-Verse Part 2.
I mean, in terms of an MCU thing, I'd like him to
Oh,
be,
yeah,
be
yeah.
in something, and then cameo in Fantastic Four, and then be in.
That's what I mean. Be Bagman and then
be
go and do
Bagman.
your
Yeah, exactly.
Kang thing. Yeah.
So above
yeah.
No Way Home, what one number are you on? now?
Number 6.
Go
So
for it. Just missing out on the big 5.
really, you could say the start of the universe, because before this film, it was just a bunch of worlds or solo properties that, apart from one that had a sequel, just it kind of felt like a world. But then this is when everything collided. The Big Bang. The bang that was quite big and impactful at the time and still is to this day. But obviously it led the road to many bigger
Howard the
bangs
Duck.
across the universe. Yes, Howard the Duck in the Avengers. Avengers Assemble.
Yes.
The birth of the
Assemble in the
MCU
UK,
really at its prime.
Retroactively now,
Yeah.
just Avengers. 'Cause,
Yeah,
you know,
Avengers
fuck it.
2012. Yeah.
Love it. Love it. When on our rewatch, because I think Lard seen like Ragnarok and stuff like that, but like when we had got to Avengers, she was like, "Oh no, I get it. Like this is the thing we're going on," and everything past Avengers, she was always more like, "Oh yeah, let's go.
Let's go. Let's do it. Yeah.
It was like getting to it. It was kind of like, "Oh, this is fun. This seems like a lot of fun." But then with that, it's like, "Oh, this is the kind of big payoff that we get," and I think that first Avengers film. Like it's so good. Like I could say it's the best Avengers film because it's the first one, and you can only capture that lightning in a bottle once.
Definitely
and that's
once.
what I think that it has over all the other Avengers films. It's like that's the first one. That's the first time. You're always chasing that second album, aren't you?
Yeah,
You're
true.
always trying to
Yeah,
recreate it.
100%.
And sometimes you get an Age of Ultron. Sometimes you get an Infinity War and an Endgame, which are great. But like in service of the first time, like it was. Still, on the face of it now, still very small scale in terms of the rest that comes. But it was like these 4 film franchises coming together for the first time.
First time, even in cinematic history, because there's not really times where that had happened.
Because this is
Really,
as it's happened before, and like as film studios have tried to copy it either successfully or unsuccessfully. If you're the Dark Universe, this is
R.I.P.
the best example of this working, and this is where it stems from. Like with these characters, maybe one day it will lead to the Avengers, but that's down the road. And then once they got to that and realised it could work and made over $1 billion,
$1 billion.
they went right. Here's the big plan. Here's how we get there. Let's go for phase 2.
Yeah, 100%.
Brilliant. I love it, and I think it's the best work that
What, Joss Whedon?
Joss Whedon, yeah. I think it's his best work because as a person, but
Yeah.
it just what better person to deal with an ensemble than the Buffy guy?
Then the Buffy guy.
You know what I mean? Like
the
he was so
Buffy
good.
guy.
Like Buffy's so good at like balancing all those characters,
Yeah.
and everyone gets a chance to shine. And everyone, bar Hawkeye, until like the final half hour, 20 minutes, like gets their moment of like
Yeah.
they are all intrinsically part of this. And then it makes you want to go off and follow them as they separate. Like, what do we do? Will they come back? And they will because we'll need them to. And it ends. And we get the little sting of Thanos. And it's like, here's where we're going, baby. Beautiful start to finish. And maybe the beginning drags on a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's
But
fine. I think that's fine.
I get a mate, just you saying this list is like, I want to watch all these films again.
In this order. In this order.
That'd be a fucking confusing order.
That would be all over the place.
First up, For the Dark.
Yeah, no. Definitely do not do this in this watch order. Even if you start at number 1 and end with 4-2, then God bless your heart. Kid.
Jesus.
Yeah, God bless your heart.
Number 5. So we're in the top 5 now.
Now, probably the most subjective film on this whole list. A film that I love so much. The film that probably I watch the most whenever I feel low. When I need a good 2-minute laugh, 3-second laugh.
I can't think of what these are going to be. I'm liking this. Is it? Go for it.
I know you. He's a friend from work.
Thor Ragnarok. I love it. I appreciate it. It is definitely a top-end Marvel movie.
Yeah, for me,
Has
it is.
Has it been dampened by recent Taika Waititi actions and Thor: Love and Thunder? Not really. For me, I think there's an argument for that. If anything, it's like, wow, Ragnarok was a bit of a fluke.
Yeah, it was a lightning in the bottle fluke of a movie that shouldn't have worked at all, and because it was the total opposite of what we know. But as soon as he, Chris Hemsworth's getting fucking dangled, as soon as and then Surtur's doing his plan, and he's like, "Hang on, give me a minute, hang on, give me a moment." It was like, okay, what
especially
is
for
this?
a franchise that is like
Kind of on the downward slope at that point. It was kind of like
it had like. Say what you will about the first Thor, I think it's like really enjoyable.
really good, yeah.
But
really
very
good.
vanilla for some people, and Thor: The Dark World doubled down by having a Game of Thrones director come in and be like, "This is dark, gritty, medieval," which it should have been, but more fantasy and trippy. Like, I think there is a film between Ragnarok and
What
The Dark World
that should have
of that
happened.
tone.
Yeah, right.
It's not too cosmic-y. It's not too gritty and medieval. That is what he is. It's if you could, which I think they tried to do in Love and Thunder, but it was like the two halves just didn't fit. And they were just like mashing them together in terms of just a nice like synergetic half and half.
Before the character died, and instead it was Chris Hemsworth acting like a goof, which ain't a bad thing because it's still Chris Hemsworth, but. I felt like his character went out the window.
Like
he went out the window.
This is Thor stripped back of everything, like his eye, his friends, his dad, his mum, that guy, whoever that guy is. It's great. It's very of the Guardians feel of like it's cosmic, it's fun. We get the team up. We get Loki for the final time in a Thor movie.
For now, yes. R.I.P. Loki, you gorgeous man.
I really enjoyed this, and it's.
Yeah.
Do you get the thing of like it's sort of a bit like what you were saying earlier about like Casino Royale and films like that, like with Iron Man? Like, is it still as good? I think on the most part, like it's not. It's not a solid. This is the best one.
No.
But it's still a solid, like you say. If you need to enjoy a film,
if you need something quick, then just watch a scene or two from
that. It's why our sister all that. Like Ragnarok was one of the few that they'd seen.
Right.
And like
with good reason,
and they love they love Ragnarok, like it's a good film, and they'll just be like, oh, like whenever it's like a thing of like they love Ragnarok, if they get to a rewatch, it's like, yeah, I fucking love this.
Whoa, get the popcorn out. Yeah,
it's the most appealing to. It's the 10th Doctor of MCU films. It's the most appealing to a general audience.
Right. Yeah.
And because it strips everything back and it's like, this is what we want to do with the character, and it works on the whole, but it just doubles down on some of the stuff a bit too much in the next one. But I don't think it's, for me, it's definitely the Batman Forever. It's so good. We didn't expect it to be as good after the dark and gritty second film, and the really campy full film doesn't make you. It makes you, if anything, respect it more.
Yeah, that's probably why before Ragnarok's candle is still burning quite strong in the eternal flame.
Eternal flame of Valhalla.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the hammer pulled you off.
Oh my god, the hammer pulled you off.
To the top 5.
This number 4.
Number 4, shit, that was 5.
Yeah, that was number 5. Yeah.
Oh, there's not many films left. What could they be? I know there's 2 Avengers films and a Guardians film, but I don't know what the other one is.
Wait, say those films again? What?
There's 2 Avengers films left. There's a Guardian. There's Volume 3.
You don't know what the other one is.
I don't know what the other one is. I can't really think. Go on.
Well, it ain't the other one. It's a film about being a creep and a weirdo, and how much it hurts. And I can't think of the rest of the lyrics. I'm a god. I'm a raccoon.
Oh.
I'm a talking tree. I'm a fratty Chris. Yeah, it's Guardians 3.
Fabulous. Fabulous. Guardians of the Galaxy. Volume 3.
The most recent instalment in this never-ending list. Is this high up? What magic is this?
Well, for me, it was second, wasn't it?
Yeah, for you, yeah.
But, like, it's definitely, for me, at minimum top 5. Like, it's so good. It's nitpicks
about Adam Warlock aside, but again, at this point, who cares about the characters they rip from the page? Because they do their own thing and it works. Will Poulter works.
And when he comes back, we'll appreciate him as a character more, because they'll give him more to do.
Yeah.
But for this version, for this cast, fabulous. Tell me why you love it, Connor.
Because this is,
a good list.
Rather than Wakanda Forever, this is the film that we legitimately was not getting. And we, the millions and millions of viewers, we at Pasty Sheep and our force and our chakra, we saved this bloody film. We got this film. And the fact that we're talking about it is because of us.
250 weeks ago, we spoke about James Gunn being fired.
We did it, people.
And we finally, 5 years later, got the instalment that we was waiting for.
The biggest payoff since Endgame. Even bigger than No Way Home, I said it.
It's the best. Like, if you're looking at it thematically and what you get out of it enjoyment-wise as well, because the enjoyment you get out of No Way Home cannot be denied. But I think this is the best post-Endgame movie.
It is. It is.
And it is one of the top, because in terms of family,
I love you guys.
There's not much more I can say. Like, is it being overindulged with high praise? Maybe, but who gives a fuck? Because it's really.
It's good. A talking tree and a raccoon, for God's sake. Yeah, okay.
I love it. I love it so much.
Awesome movie. Incredible movie.
Is there anything like you can specifically point out, just so everyone's like, yeah, that's what you, yeah.
I mean, this is why this movie is above. No, truly, the fact that Lila says to Rocket, "It's your story, and you didn't know it yet," but you can really take that quote and apply it to the majority of the characters. Drax and Nebula, yes, their arcs were technically completed by like Infinity War and Endgame, which we'll get to in case you hadn't realised where we're up to yet. But the fact that their endings and everyone's endings, because spoiler alert, everyone gets out. Right? Everyone lives
this once.
Everybody lives. Yeah, everybody lives. It's real Christopher Eccleston moment. He should have been the one to say it. But everybody lives.
9P13. I hope the planet takes around.
Oh my god! Imagine him as a high
Shit
evolution.
on you.
Imagine him as a high evolutionary.
No, because Chuck was amazing.
He was my favourite thing about the movie.
One of the best villains in years.
Ever, not just in the comic book, but just in scumbag.
Yeah, lovely.
I hated him.
It's nice to hate a villain and just to be like, you get his motivations, you get what he's about, and he's just a prick.
Just straight up prick, yeah.
And you know what? For as much as he supports that homophobic church, it was I still had a good time with Chris Pratt, and I was like, the Jurassic World movies
did not happen.
Did you a disservice, really, in terms of the character and what it gave you, because you can do this.
You can definitely do a character and a half, yeah. And the fact that he's returning.
So at some point.
Yeah.
Hopefully in an Avengers capacity, but we get all of them would be nice. Like the nice little button on top of they all have like a brief reunion at the end, they hug before going their separate ways again. Like I like that the Guardians have the ability to basically become the Avengers of space. Maybe that's how we get a cosmic Avengers. We get like the Guardians. You get so many more different versions of the Guardians that you have sort of this big old space squad.
A space squad.
Alpha Flight, but whatever else.
With Nova.
Yes.
Nova, whatever the rendition of the Guardians we get, whether it's James Gunn or not, or anybody else, I feel like Nova's got to be the focus of their film.
I'd like to see a different director take it a different way, because obviously James Gunn isn't going to come back, unfortunately.
Anytime soon. Yeah.
Number Trez, we're in the top 3. The final 3.
It's a bit out of season, this movie, because it's not exactly winter right now.
I forgot about my favourite MCU movie!
Yeah, it's a bit out of season, but yes, The Winter Soldier I watched yesterday with me nan, and even she fucking loved it. Yeah, even
Big
she
up
loved
Connor's nan,
Big up me nan.
She has great taste in these films when Connor makes so much
No,
sense.
I mean, out of 32 films, she's seen maybe about 5 or 6. But I'm showing her the gist of the story, and then anything she wants to watch. If she gets to the point where she's like, "What happened in this one? What happened in that one?" Then I can show her afterwards.
Beautiful.
But yes, Winter Soldier. God
Perfect.
damn.
For me, perfect.
Yeah, the MCU, the universe, getting more ambitious, more individual,
Change
and
direction completely.
fucking completely, and just being fucking cool at it. Again, this is only because of yesterday. The only thing, even Nan points out, because she's a bit of a cynic and critic. How the fuck did anyone not die? The amount of explosions, the amount of falls, the amount of it's a bit.
How did
even for a comic
book? How
book.
did the Avengers not see that and sort of come back? Like, how did Iron Man see that? Like, the same with Iron Man 3. Like, when his house gets blown up. Like, why didn't he call Nick Fury or Shield or an Avenger?
Yeah. It's just the explosions, the kabooms. The Bucky should have killed Cap like 5, 6 different times. It's like bloody hell.
But then the whole thing is,
it was amazing.
You know,
it was amazing.
You can put it's a higher pain threshold. You can put up with a lot more shit.
Yeah, but even going from training in the Avengers Assemble to him throwing shields at people on fucking boats in the opening of Winter Soldier. When did he become such a badass between the movies?
And that's what I like as well, because Captain America was, as honest trailers quoted him in the Avengers trailer, no one's favourite character.
No, because of that star-spangled outfit. Yeah.
In terms of the saga, at least he is one of the top 2 characters in the MCU in terms of emotional growth and the character he goes on, and that all really starts here with Winter Soldier.
With this one, definitely with this one.
Because with Avengers, it was kind of just like, and we just got to use him because he's part of the lineup and he's here, and
yeah,
and he's kind of like
he's America, goddammit.
And
yeah.
At that point, and you can still retroactively now like attribute it to he's still adjusting to life, and then like Winter Soldier is like he's like sort of finding his way and is trusting, like, because he's always trusted the people in charge of him, but when that trust is shattered because they're all corrupt, you don't know where to turn. And I think this turning point in the MCU was like fabulous. We didn't see it coming. It changes the whole outlook of what comes for the rest of Phase 2, let alone the rest of where we go in future phases. But it also had it was one of the few things to have an impact on the TV universe.
On the TV stuff,
You know, Agents of Shield was impacted by this. You had, I think, brief mentions of it in other, the Hulu stuff.
Maybe, potentially.
And
yeah.
I don't know if it was.
They talked about it in
alluded to
Daredevil in the newspapers and stuff.
Yeah,
there definitely was articles about the the Manhattan incident or the New York thing. Yeah, Battle New York.
Love it.
Amazing movie. That again, you don't need freaking 5 or 6 or 7 other people in star-spangled outfits to be just as cool. You're America, damn it, and you've got an ass, and you're fucking cool.
And it was a fantastic directorial turnout from the
By
Russo
the Russos.
brothers.
Yeah.
And we were like, I wonder what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out, a lot.
The top 2 movies as well.
Yes, because what you've got left are 2 Avengers
The
movies.
the creme de la creme. The ones that we'd be building up towards.
So,
yeah, it's
for
a bit
you,
cliche putting them as the best, but they kind of are.
So if we did, like Calvin Dyson has previously done, best directors in the Bond universe. So for you, are the Russo brothers the best directors in the MCU?
I know Civil War's freaking 12, 13 spots down, but it's
And
still
then
a good movie.
Second, you'd probably say James Gunn, just because you've got Guardians sort of consistently in the very top half.
And then I know I've got. Then I'd maybe say Mr. Coogler third. James Gunn second, Coogler third.
That's a good top 3. Maybe we'll have to do that one day.
Yeah.
The best MCU directors, but we know that Russo's his favourite because it's 3 movies in a row. Okay, so it's 2 Avengers.
Not intentional, but
it's 2 Avengers films.
Yes. Which way is it?
And they're also a 2-parter, so we can kind of talk about it in a big chunk anyway. So what's second?
See, if you've watched any of our specials, you've watched any of our rankings, you kind of know what way of the threshold I'm on. But this time, Sonny boy, it's changed, my dear, and it seems not a moment too soon. Because number 2, because Colin Baker himself is dragging Endgame to number 2.
Oh,
which hurt. Part of me hurts.
Do you know what? I agree with that because I think as a better film, Infinity War is better.
Only because I watched it for whatever movie it was.
Did you watch it for the Guardians stuff?
I think I was only going to watch the scenes of the Guardians, and I ended up watching the whole Infinity War, and I cried. It got to me this time around.
It's such a well-made movie. The villain wins. It's a good cliffhanger. Both parts, it is a 2-parter.
Yes,
but they are 2 very separate things, and I think you get the best of both worlds because you have the villain movie in Infinity War.
Yes,
it's all about it's Thanos' movie. Thanos will return.
Yeah.
And then you get the big boo-hiss villain version of Thanos that comes in this in the end of the second act of Endgame, and we get to have those fisticuffs when the big CGI battle scene to crescendo of isn't this lovely? 10 years, here's all the characters we've got. I think it is the perfect finale of this expensive TV show.
Goddamn expensive, yeah.
Why do you love these films the most? I mean, it's a solid top 3, mate.
It's everything: the storytelling, the characters. I mean, why we love Marvel in general. I mean, it's the embodiment of at least Infinity War and Endgame. But I do feel, even with the Russos doing the top 3, definitely weren't planned. I promise. What puts those films above the fucking rest? I really, really don't know. Infinity War and Endgame, it's obviously just to build up the journey and the ultimate payoff of payoffs, which even if we get to with Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars, whether it's 2025, 2026, 2027, it ain't going to capture the magic of those 2. I don't think. Nothing ever will.
It's going to be hard
Nothing
to get
ever will.
Because it was also 10 years worth of storytelling across 3 phases and 20 previous films.
20 previous fucking films.
Well, no, because it was 19 was Infinity War, so across 20 or 22 films, you had this big story, but which are we going to get that across? Are we going to get that same feeling when we get to the end of Phase 6 when we got it's across 5 years? We're going to have
at this time of recording, probably not.
It'll come close, I think.
I think it will ultimately in the end, but you're going to have to put a lot of fucking layers and spread all over the fucking dry bit of cake that's on the plate. You're going to have to make it really tasty. Whereas this was earned, organic, naturally made from scratch, beautiful homemade cake that was Endgame and Infinity War. And we earned it. Whereas this feels, this current saga feels a bit freaking, reduced. Use by date is two days from now, and they've got to fucking put preservatives and put shit in it to make it just as good as it was previously. In an odd comparison, but alas, that is kind of the Avengers, my version of the MCU, and I'm surprised how fucking long that took.
Well, some of it, there was a lot of science in the middle that we can cut out, but which will have been gone. But that's a really solid list. What's your MCU ranking list now that we've done ours? Because we are due. Probably we'll leave it a bit because we talked about the MCU for a while, so we kind of like to have a break, have a Kit Kat.
We'll save it for Secret Invasion, I think. End of next month.
But yeah, we could possibly do
Like
that.
good 3 weeks or something.
We'll do our Phase 4 recap at some point in the near future. Just like we've got a anniversary special coming up with one Will Templar, which will no doubt be Doctor Who based. Will it be another retrospective series thing? Because I want to turn them into their actual own thing, preferably in time for the Star Beast. But we shall see. Let us know what your favourite MCU movie is in the comment section below. Engage with us. Email us.
Tweet, TikTok. Send us your
TikTok
TikToks.
us.
TikTok us, yeah. Send us clocks through the mail at this PO box in the description below. Send us an electronic mail at nerdbiblecontact@gmail.com for all your MCU goodness and any other questions you want to ask. Quandaries. I like the word quandaries. Send them our way.
And follow us at Paystreet across Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the TikTok. And until then, I suppose we just wait and hope for more Disney.
Oh god. Oh no. One of these days we'll be saying for more DC.